In From the Depths, you can do anything from going to space to building the ultimate battleship, or of course, beautiful airships. But there is one way of playing which I very rarely do, because in my opinion, it is the strongest, most cheesy way of playing out of everything. And it isn't spaceships, it's the humble submarine. These things are nearly impossible to see, they can counter loads and loads of designs, and those they don't counter, they still have a pretty good chance against. These things are absolutely brutal. In today's video, we're going to set the simple rule of I can never go above the water. We are going to instantly build a submarine in the adventure mode and see just how powerful we can become. Today, we are embracing the cheese. There are pretty much no limitations other than I have to be under the water, so expect lots of missiles, just absolutely loads of missiles, and probably a particle cannon or two. Originally, I was going to have this run completely with the default settings, as you can see here. Normally, I have the automatic detection set up, which will help our enemies to make sure they can see us and actually start the fight. However, since we're a sub, the whole point is that detection is very difficult for the enemies. However, after around about an hour or two applying, I decided it was just not fun at all for some of these fights when the enemies couldn't see us at all. So what I decided to do instead is go for the Nita settings 2019, which will have all of these overridden, which does give the enemy a 0.1 detection rate. But don't worry, this still means the enemy can't really aim at you properly, it just has a vague sense. Almost like it can vaguely see you. A vague spoiler for the future, this enemy here is on the 0.1 detection, and as you can see, it's firing pretty much everywhere and not really hitting at all. Maybe one or two shots connect by sheer chance. So the submarine stealth is still very intact, only enemies which are designed to see us will be able to see us. Now, into the video itself, it's gonna be a long one. And so begins our adventure below the water, currently floating on top of it. So as soon as I go below the water, I will no longer resurface, because this will count as a game over in this run, because that's the whole point. We are going to be under the water every step of the way, and this does include the use of the pistons, which we could very easily go ahead and put things like the material gatherers on. I'm also not allowing this. This way, all of our resource will come from attacking other vehicles, and that's it. Which will make things a lot less smooth, to say the least. But for now, we're just floating away until we can make this thing sink. Then our first weapons are likely going to be torpedoes, maybe a missile system, not too sure, moving on to advanced cannons and everything else a little bit later. I'm also going to set up, if we can actually find it, there we go, set up the ability to go to multiple altitudes. We're likely going to have one which will be around about -15. This way we can avoid most enemies while still being high enough in the water to actually target enemies nice and easily, and then something like -300, so we can dive nice and deep so that enemies can't find us and certainly can't fight us as efficiently. Now, all that waffle out of the way, I do need to save up some resources before I even get started here, because it's going to be a weird bit of conversion work making a raft into a sub. Expect our first craft to be essentially a block. As per usual, I kind of have no idea what I'm doing here, but sure, it looks like a bizarre shoe at the moment, and I'm sure that's things people normally say when they're designing military equipment. Oh dear, we've accidentally made a shoe. Okay, so we can load some torps here. We increase the size of this top section, have a little bit of superstructure, a little mass there, look nice. That's not the right word, but still, sure. I've already set up the PID, so I'm stable, but not able to dive at the moment. No enemies yet. Great. Pretty much as soon as there's an enemy, that's when I need to just instantly dive. I'm not allowing myself to fight above water even once. Yeah, sure. Oh, we have an enemy, and we don't currently have weapons. I did do pretty well, though. Honestly, I'm decently happy with this thing. It's... okay, so here's the thing. You may think, Lathrix, you actually built a craft which looks like a craft in the allotted time. I didn't build the bottom of it yet. It's currently hollow. So, no, I didn't. But let's all pretend I did for a second. Where are you? What are you? How far away are you? Okay, only a tiny little enemy there. So... okay, I do want to get as much resource as possible, and I'm imagining once I get underneath the water... oh, once again, I am currently capping out on resources. I've been building so slow, I keep on capping out. I wonder how long the enemy's been there. I'm looking at my timer, and I think I've been building for the last 25 minutes, so... probably been there for a while, and I've just noticed. Okay, grab as much resources as I can, then I'll set up the PIDs to allow us to sink. At the moment, we're just kind of floating. Really basic weapons. I also realise I actually have no movement capabilities at the moment. I can't turn, for instance. You know what, I prefer prediction guidance for torps, and I definitely want a ballast tank. That'll make life a lot easier for me if I can find it. It's been so long since I made torps. Sure. Really basic little torp here. Not going to fire them though till we're underwater. We are currently safe. That is a very forgiving first enemy. I'm going to make this so simple. So set the fake point value to -15. And have that as a your command, actually no, as a strafe command of left. Cool, and do the same over here, except for I want the fake to be 200. So in theory, once I remove the original one of these, I should now be able to force us to sink. In theory, and then I need to move these somewhere safer. So if I press left, we should now be sinking down to -15. Correct? Correct! Lovely! Fantastic, wonderful. And then if I... Oh, left and left, whoops a daisy, let's change this to right. You know, I've been doing this for how many years, and I still can't read basic commands. Okay, right. So now that's set to -200. Brilliant! Okay, we can now sink very, very slowly. I have currently one propeller controlling all of my depth, and that is not enough, but it is enough for now. Okay, now we need to be able to make this thing turn and move. Just change the graphics, now I can see through the water a bit better, so I actually see myself even when I'm a lot further down, which is great. Okay, I've just added some propellers to the back. I know it's ugly, but it's alright. I haven't got any space on the front, which is a me mistake. I'll try and sort that out later. I've got some decals I want to add in some of the decorations, but for now, basic shape should work. If I move forwards, we move forwards, and I'm not tipping or anything, I'm slightly pitching upwards. Not too bad, but the PID needs to be stronger until I can place the propellers in a better position. Currently they're just along this spine, and I didn't really sort things out, and because this thing doesn't have a bottom at the moment, the centre of mass is too high, so a lot of the listing will be solved by just... Oh god, even turning makes the thing roll. Least stable, weirdly drifting submarine I've ever seen. But you know what? It works, and that's all that matters. Oh god, it's gonna make me sick. It works, and I'm gonna vomit. But you know, it works. There's a flying enemy over there which can't see us. Now, I probably mentioned this in the intro, but I'm gonna mention it again because it is important for people who skip the intro. I'm not allowing automatic detection in this run. Normally I do, and it's something which isn't in the default settings. In fact, I only enable it to help out the enemies. But considering the whole point of a submarine is to avoid enemy detection, allowing the enemies to artificially see me, I think defeats the purpose of the entire run. Now, normally I would do that because I don't want to ambush enemies too much, but again, we submarine, we stealthy, we hit them before they hit us back. That's kind of the whole point. Now, will you hit the enemy or will you just go sailing next to it? Explosions underwater deal bonus damage, so obviously these are just high explosive. Good, its butt is gone. Yeah, that actually looks pretty nice, at least for a first build. So still the enemy behind us. Oh, the enemy's ahead of us too, having a little fight as they apparently can't see us. We're gonna be proper salvaged. That's a nuke. Why is there a nuke in difficulty 0? Who thought that was a good idea? Okay, most enemies in difficulty 0 are super easy. Then you have this troll of an enemy. I think this is the nuke one. Do you have the boomy things? It might be you, it might not, I don't know anyway. But there are just a few nuke enemies in difficulty 0, and I don't understand why they're here. They're normally not particularly difficult to shoot down, but imagine that's your first experience with the game. Hey, welcome to the game. Nuke to the face. It's fine by us. I don't think any of them can see us, so we're going to just sneak on by and grab the resource. Now, in higher difficulties, most enemies will be able to see you under the water, at least to some level. Difficulty 0, you are pretty much invisible. So I'm just going to let those two fight it out, grab the resource, and keep on moving. There we go, that works better. Glory to the Imperium of Man. We're loyalists, as we always have been. Wait, did you beat the other craft? Oh, okay, the little duster there actually won. Well done to the little duster. Couple of tiny missiles here on the back, so they are absolutely tiny little things. Prediction guidance, a little bit of a delay on their thrusters. Oh, where are they going? Oh, the duster's still quite close. Okay, so they're probably going to miss here because seeing that duster is difficult and we're quite far away. These are very short-range missiles for the time being because I don't really have resources to make bigger ones. Maybe I should have just made 1 or 2 cruise missiles rather than 4 smaller ones. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Just need to find a portal. Or anything I can actually attack. Moving at 9 meters per second is painful. Later on, much bigger engines, much bigger propellers. For now, this is about it. This is my life for like the last half an hour. This is definitely the longest I've ever spent in difficulty 0. So these are now EMP missiles. I just killed, I think, a Jacob's Scorn over there. Sadly, didn't actually see it happen because the camera glitched out, but still. They should be able to kill the Sea Viper fairly reliably, I imagine. Yeah, nice and easily. EMP at this difficulty is absolutely brutal. But yeah, I have now been in difficulty 0 for 1 hour, 30 minutes, which is definitely a record for me at this point. First red portal, and of course it's floating above the water. It mocks us. So, almost 2 hours into difficulty 0, and so far not a single enemy has been able to even detect us. So if you want an easy time for your very first playthrough, I would actually suggest making a submarine. Now of course, making a sub isn't the easiest of all the designs, but I think I've shown it's not too difficult. Oh, come on. Can we please hit this with my normal weapon, because it would be funny. There we go. Can I hit your brain is the next question. Where would your brain be located? Is it up your butt? Is your brain up your butt? I'm destroying everything but your brain, apparently. Did I do it? No. There. Yes, and can I actually capture this thing? Yes, I did, and I didn't even leave the water. There we go, we got a capture as a submarine without leaving the water. Fantastic. Well done, us. Where would a green portal even go? Finally, a red portal, and the sound just cut out. The game is upset with me finding a red portal, but there it is. Okay, so difficulty 5, this is how we look at the moment. I've added some outer armor here, we can add some fins here and stuff later, because I think it'll look nice. And you may be wondering, Lathrix, are you going to try and make this look true to life in any way, like a real submarine? And to that, I have to ask if you've ever seen any of my videos, because of course I'm not. I am terrible with that kind of thing, so there's a good chance this is going to end up looking like a fish. A really weird fish. A really, really weird fish who has pledged loyalty to the Emperor. You know, that kind of fish. Oh, yeah, the adventure bell doesn't work underwater. Well, that's annoying. Okay, well, we're in difficulty 10 at the moment. There's a Shrike above us, along with a casket bolt. I was going to try and summon a ship as well. I am going to hang around in this difficulty for a little while, since I want to see if difficulty 10 is when finally things start having some sonar. I mean, I imagine they probably would. Huh, I thought I'd go for the casket bolt, apparently not. Was that enough to take out the Shrike? Apparently not. Okay, a little bit of EMP resistance finally being built into the designs. Okay, there's a white flyer craft. Apparently our missiles simply weren't needed. Still hit anyway. This took out the Shrike. Will it be able to see us? Just released some torps. This is why a manually aimed weapon would be nice in the future. Ooh, it's apparently flying. Don't know why I'm getting so close, honestly. I just kind of am. Still going for the Shrike. Oh, my EMP has instantly killed it. Darn, I really shouldn't have fired. I wanted to weaken it maybe, just in case it did target us. I'll never know now. Okay, good, they do work as I intended them to. They have one turn on them, which essentially means they will target the area I'm pointing at when I fire them. Otherwise, it's going to be quite difficult with these types of ranges for them to actually see the target to begin with. Lovely. Don't know how one missed, but still lovely nonetheless. No sonar? No? Okay. I think it actually fired at me. I mean, I had to get way too close, but yeah, I think that was the first enemy to actually take a shot. It was a small cram shot and it didn't go anywhere near me because the AI tends to not calculate water all that well, but still, look, it's trying. And if they have timed fuses, they could potentially hit me. So is that because I'm just really close? Does it have a sonar? I'm not entirely sure. I didn't see a sonar when I checked it out. Ah, hello. Okay. That's the passive sonar? I can't remember because they changed how a lot of the AI looks a while back, and I'm still getting used to it, especially ones I don't use all that much. No, it's a 90-degree... Oh, you have 90-degree sonars on your side here, and then it's covered. Still, first enemy with a sonar. Lovely to see. I think this is a good distance to be, just to fire everything we have constantly. Oh, there were the torpedoes underneath the water, finishing off the enemy. Lovely. Good. Okay, those cruise missiles I wasn't too happy with. I think they need to be a little bit bigger, honestly, to have a bit more impact and distance. I'm not sure if the Ripper was firing at me. I was about to say it's firing at me finally so it can see me, but I'm not entirely sure. Oh, also I changed the missiles for no real reason. They're now incendiary because I miss setting things on fire, okay? I'm a simple creature. Burning things makes me incredibly happy. That's slightly incriminating, but I'm purely talking about in-game. That was fun. Okay, where are you? That's the Wanda. I don't think the Wanda's going to be able to see me. Too high up in the air. Doubt it's going to be dropping sonars, so if you wouldn't mind setting it on fire, that would be grand. Also, now we have more of them, so yeah, we have 8 of these cruise missiles. They can go a decent distance now. Already at 2,000 meters, about to be 3,000, and hello, Wanda! Why does that keep happening? That camera thing where it shifts away from the target once the missiles have hit. It doesn't always do that, sometimes it sticks where they hit, which is what I want. There we go. So the fire has an intensity of 40, so it does full damage versus metal. I think like 8,000 damage each. So it lacks that punch that the old missiles had, but yeah, it definitely eats away at the target. That is so fun. I really wish flamethrowers worked underwater, and before you say, Lathrix, that makes no sense, I understand it makes no sense, but you can give them oxidizer so that they can fire they can burn things underwater. But yeah, the actual nozzle itself doesn't work if it's under the water, which again, I know makes complete sense. I just want it to be silly. Because it would be really stupid. Another Wanda, they're currently firing at some small planes in the distance. Immediately knocked out the block I was attached to, of course. I am genuinely tempted to keep them as fire. That's just so fun. Need to finally start working on the internal armor. At the moment, it is basically just a hollow shell. The bottom isn't done yet still, but it's getting close. I've finished off lowering a lot of it. And because of all this empty space, one good thing of building with such empty space is that I don't need a full hull renovation for quite a while. What I do need to consider, though, is I know there's at least some enemies in difficulty tanks, I've seen it in the past, which have torpedoes. Which, of course, will be able to see me, otherwise it'd be silly. So what I do need soon is some anti-torpedo defenses. Torpedoes will absolutely ruin us in just 1 or 2 hits. Their extra explosive damage and the fact we're not a particularly large target, if we get hit, we're pretty much going down. And no ducking lower and lower altitude-wise is really going to help. Just in the sandbox mode very quickly to make sure that passive sonars work the way I think they do. Yeah, it looks like they do. Fantastic. So all of these are missile interceptors, which will of course work against enemy torpedoes. Although these are very big torpedoes that just fired against us, and wow, they just tanked all that damage. So hopefully you won't see your missiles this big. Though you can see this one was quite badly damaged because look how much slower it is now. When missiles are damaged, including torpedoes, they both slow down and have less of a yield. You able to fire again before it hits us? Okay, so it did manage to take out one large missile. That's fine, considering this isn't a particularly big system. In fact, one thing which is curious is I'm almost certain this is an enemy which can spawn in the lower difficulties. This is the buttress. I'm almost certain this is a difficulty 10, maybe 15 enemy, so this could happen. Now, if they're nice and far away, it looks like we can take out the torps. And then, of course, retaliate with our own weaponry. Cool. Okay, that's how I'm going to set it up. I am going to be raising this top section as I build further forward and backwards, which means I will eventually actually have these armoured. At the moment, they are pretty exposed, but I think they look cool, so that's fine. And I managed to take out one of the two torps straight away. Lovely. Brilliant. Fantastic. It can completely defend us against the buttress. Is that a particularly scary target? I'm not entirely sure, but those are large missiles, so it must be some amount of health. I'm fairly certain that thing just fired at me. I also only just now realised that the one-turn element needs to have a delay, otherwise, yeah, things like that happen. Because it's taking a while to breach the surface, its one turn is trying to activate straight away where it can't actually activate since it's underwater, and then I have no choice of where the missiles are actually aiming to begin with, and they're likely to fire at the wrong targets. On the upside, the Jacob's Folly is now completely on fire behind us. I'm sure this thing just fired at us, but it could have been firing at the Jacob's Folly itself. Also, I'm thinking I could actually make these fire as well. Yes, you can make fire torpedoes, because what you can do is, with the incendiary warheads, if you add oxidizer, they can burn underwater. However, it will remove the actual damage they do quite significantly, so if you want them to burn through metal and have oxidizer, wow, only 203 fuel. That's absolutely nothing. So probably won't do that. Let's just stick with explosive for now. Okay, at least those are actually going after the ironclad. Now, come on, we're nice and close to this target. I know the one turn's messed up, but can you please? Yay! You actually go towards the right target. And nope, the ironclad is firing at the Jacob's Folly all the way in the distance. It can't actually see us. And he's now very much on fire. I know it sounds silly, but I love how soft the impact is when you're using fire weapons. Just a little hit, tiny bit of kinetic damage, a little bit of the delay, and then finally the fire actually starts doing its work. It's weirdly satisfying, even as someone who loves his explosions. Yeah, the actual overall damage isn't the best, but it has been really good at just knocking out so many little vitals on the surface. It's hard to say it's not doing well, though. So this is just a patchwork, isn't it? Yeah. Probably should fire some more just to finish this thing off. Probably one more salvo should be enough. It looks like it's taken out several of the weapons. And it's still burning now. 100,000 damage, in fact. Did I fire? Yes, I did. It's just very, very far away. I keep forgetting how long range these things actually are. I think about 4,000 meters? Probably a bit more, actually. Yeah, probably closer to 5 or 6. Okay, they have time fuses. They are proper little depth charges that's trying to fire at me. What is the Wasp? No! Fire at the thing able to fire at me! Okay, we need to, eventually, I will make the missiles remote guidance rather than just radar. That way we can actually decide who we're targeting completely. On the upside, the Wasp is now on fire. I think the Wasp is like a little airship, isn't it? I vaguely remember it from a past run. See, I always thought the Wasp was Onyx Watch, and now I think about it, of course it isn't. Grey Talons. Don't think it's able to see me, though, so just keep trying to dodge the cram shells and keep firing the fire at the Grey Talons, and we should be okay. Also, we're out of ammo. Ah. Forgot that I added more weapons and didn't add more ammo to compensate. Could have done that better. Now, if I want the missiles to really target where I'm aiming as well, I could add the little adjustment jets. I forgot exactly what they're called, but they take fuel to essentially do a really more effective version of the one turn. Also, that enemy is using distractions. Okay, so we do need some signal processors then. Start ignoring that. Don't think they hit me then. Close though. Good attempt there by the Onyx Watch. Yeah, still not full ammo here, but we are causing some explosions, so the fire is doing its job. Do they have interceptors as well? Okay, so they are definitely anti-missile. Just for the time being, I'm going to activate a signal processor. What these do is they reduce the effectiveness of enemy distractions. In the future, my missiles will just come with these equipped, so I just didn't think I really needed them just yet. There we go, this time all three went straight for it, perfect. So ignore the fact that one still managed to miss. I can't even see where the wasp is. There it is again. Okay, lovely. I'm saying lovely a lot today. Everything's lovely. I'm getting to play with fire while hiding underwater. I mean, what's not to love? Come on, take out those propellers. Oh! Or take out something very explosive in the core. When you have your PID set up, so you're floating completely still mid-air, things can look really weird, but I never noticed just how weird it looks for a submarine. There's something about this that looks weirdly jarring. That is not moving even an inch at the moment, and it's just really disconcerting. Anyway, we're currently in the sandbox mode. Originally, I was going to expand the hull a bit and do some work with that. We have 25,000 resources to play with. We currently cost just over 50,000. But because we have loads of space left, as you can see, the internal armor still isn't fully done yet. I think instead, I'm going to just double down on the front torpedoes. I've already added an extra one, making 2 go to 3. I'll add an extra 2 down here. And then I'll work on the internal armor. That way, we're pretty much good to go once I've saved up another 50,000+ to do a complete hull overhaul, which will likely just be splitting it down here, somewhere in the half, and then dragging this back and just making it a bit longer, honestly, because then we can fit some more cruise missiles. I'm also tempted to remove these smaller missiles right now and convert them into more cruise missiles. Will I keep them as fire missiles? Potentially. Then when I do the overhaul, we're going to add our first railgun, because there is a specific shell type, which means you don't get any drag from water. I will be manually firing that almost certainly, but we definitely want at least one of them, because that can counter small aircraft, even small torpedoes which are after us. It's going to be a good universal weapon. Missiles for bigger targets, small railgun with small rounds for everything else. So here's one of the new torpedoes, nice and simple, it is just super long range. It's already travelled 2.5 kilometers, target distance is closing, it has extra fuel, it has an extra regulator, so it has more lifespan. I'm hoping it makes at least 3, yep, 3 kilometers. Did it even need the extra fuel? That's the question. What's going to run out first, the fuel or the lifespan? Or are we just going to hit the target? Brilliant, fantastic. Didn't have quite as much impact. Actually, no it did. Loads of blocks destroyed there. Fantastic. We now have an ability to assassinate targets nice and far away using some torps. Getting the first strike is the privilege of the submarine. There we go. Way more missiles, which means way more fire. Along with the torps. Oh, that was nice. Yeah, so against smaller targets like we're going to be fighting at the moment, those torps should be more than enough. I really should move away from fire. I think going with frag, considering they're going to be so clustered, would be really good. But I don't care, because fire makes me happy. I swear, in the normal runs, where I'm not a submarine, I never see these floating red portals. The second I am a sub, suddenly every single portal is floating. Ooh, is that a sub? Ooh, hello. Well, I'm very glad I've got anti-torp stuff. If I fire mine... Good, they're actually going for it. Fantastic. For a second I thought to go for the scuttle gun, which would be kind of pointless since it can't even see us. I'm just going to keep following these torps because I'm not sure if it fired its own. It definitely had some torps to try and grab. It looks like a melee submarine. Oh, no, it definitely has normal torps as well. Thank you, anti-torps. We should be absolutely fine. Will these be in range? Doubt it. I think it's going to be close. Though we do have the larger torps, which will be heading there soon. Oh, never mind. Our small torps also hit, and they even hit some of its movement capabilities. Wonderful. Either way, the enemy sub can't even touch us, so we're winning this one. And I'll fire some missiles to finish off the scuttle gun as well. There it is. Hello. Yep, it can't hit us. Those two torps don't have enough health to even come close to getting to us. I don't think it has any anti-torp systems. So the one wave of cruise missiles did around about 130,000 fire damage, pretty much turning off everything on the scuttle gun. So this will be its finale. The sub has gone down, it didn't really stand a chance, it couldn't even hit us with its weapons. And then we have the tiny little scrapper. What's interesting is, they've all been able to see the other sub, but none of them have been able to see me. It must be just how high up I am. That looks purple, right? But actually it's a green. That's very annoying. Red in the sky. I think that's in the sky. No, it might be on the level. Finally, we can go to 14. Just take out the enemy and head directly towards it. 15. I meant 15. The first enemy was a pulsar. Fire quickly dealt with that. There is a second enemy, however, I'm not entirely sure what it is. It's going to move on over. Fire the torps, which can now see the pulsar because it's in the water. That is incredibly annoying. We have Deepwater Guard. That is the scoundrel. I feel sorry for this melee craft. It's two enemies and me, a submarine it can't reach, and a flyer which it can't reach. I like how my missiles also went after the Atlas, even though the buzzsaw had clearly already won. Oh good, the buzzsaw's actually more expensive than us. Do we stick around in difficulty 20 for a bit longer, or just go through the portal again? The Atlas could see us. That was a good sign. I guess with the buzzsaw there was no reason for it to see us because it can't really fire underwater anyway. Not sure. And yes, I have added more missiles because I can't help myself. So here's an enemy I've never seen before. It's called the Frustration. I think it's just packed full of interceptors, and that's just about it. Now the enemy which got killed next to it wasn't actually killed by the Frustration, it was my missiles, so I don't even know if it has any offensive capabilities. However, I don't think my missiles are going to be able to get to it, because when the pulsar fired, everything got stopped, including cram cannons, I believe. So let's see what happens. Will these be able to reach it? It looks kind of vulnerable. I think if they do reach it, it's pretty much game over, but let's find out. Yep, lots of interceptors there, loads of my missiles being stopped, and that's it. Okay, so the Frustration and I are kind of at an impasse. I can't kill the Frustration can't even target me. I'm going through a red portal into difficulty 25. I have decided, after a long bit of consideration, rather than going with the reset settings, which has the automatic detection set to 0, we are going with the NETA settings for 2019. These settings were proposed for adoption in October 2019 and were adopted in June 2020 as the new defaults for NETA, GLAW, and the Ashes of the Empire. It doesn't really say about the adventure mode, but this will allow for one important thing: automatic detection accuracy is set back to 0.1. And you might be thinking, Lathrix, didn't you go on earlier about why you're setting that to 0 because you're meant to be a submarine? And I did. But honestly, if this is going to be the default in the campaign, I think I would rather have them know I'm there. Because here's the thing, even if they know I'm here, 0.1 accuracy is nothing. They are not going to be able to hit us. Simple as that. As long as we're under the water, they are still not going to be able to really see us, and their accuracy is going to be absolutely horrendous. I'm getting sick of them not even firing back at me. I am just genuinely getting so bored, and I'm sure it's not very fun for the video either. So the enemy is the Faraday. Just defeated whatever the other enemy was. Sadly, I didn't get to check that out. Oh, that's a lot of interceptors. But not enough to stop all of our missiles. We do have a few reinforced bodies on our missiles, so they're not exactly 0 health. Okay, it has some plasma, which will be doing massively reduced damage underwater. And as you can see, although they can see us, technically, they're not hitting us. So I think the change was warranted. I don't think it's going to make major differences. Honestly, I don't think any fight so far would have really been changed if the enemy could have vaguely saw us. We still would have dominated every fight. But at least now the enemy will hit us. I got hit once then. The enemy's still very much on fire right now. Oh my god, those are gorgeous! Look at the little arrows! Oh, that is so pretty! I feel bad that I might win this, because that is such a gorgeous craft. With gorgeous missiles! The Faraday has decided not to continue fighting us because a new enemy has arrived. It is still slowly burning away. So, I should mention, if you can't tell already, fire is not really meant to be a primary weapon because one of its other effects is as it does damage to a block, it actually weakens that block, unlike other damage types, making it easier for other weapon types to go through. So, it's all about softening up the outer shell so then you can get other weapons to really break them. So I really should be using other weapon types. Ideally with the missiles, what you could do is incendiary first, and then fragment or explosive afterwards, to really just blow apart the enemy. I love how they have done that chain. The iron. Okay, Mr. Iron, what are you doing, buddy? Send out our long-range torpedoes, get a bit closer. Our missiles probably aren't quite in range. The Emperor's Cleansing Fire. Or something else cringy to say, I don't know. I'm getting pretty tired. Yeah, honestly, I really wish I had set the detection as this from the very start. I was worried that we'd be getting hit too much and basically no point in being the submarine. This is the accuracy of the enemy currently trying to fire at us. We're here. That's the shell. It's only this far away. It can't even decide where I am. It fires absolutely everywhere. But at least it's trying now, which makes it way more interesting. And once in a while, something just scrapes the hull, comes close and causes problems. It also means the enemy doesn't randomly run away, despite the fact it's right next to me, which has happened several times and just makes fights way too long. I'm going to have to put a whole chunk about this at the start of the video, aren't I? Yes, I am. If I'm sounding pessimistic, it's because, once again, I'm very tired. It's now 2 AM. This has been one of the longest recording sessions I've ever done. Blame fire. So now we're running into a real problem. The maximum intensity of a missile-based fire is only 40, whereas the flame resistance of heavy armor is 60, which means you're doing massively reduced damage as soon as it hits heavy armor. You can see on this now, all of the outer armor, well, almost all of it has been completely stripped off, but as soon as it hits the heavy armor, it just completely halts. Which is a shame, because heavy armor is actually partially flammable and will feed the fire, but if you don't have enough intensity, it doesn't really matter all that much. The fires last a long time, but do very, very little damage. We are approaching the end of the era of fire. Or what we could do is this. So this is something I mentioned earlier. So these red trails are still fire, but the grey trails are now fragments. That wasn't bad. So fire weakens the, I think it's the armor value of the blocks it damages, which means even heavy armor starts getting very, very bendy and weak by the end, which means fragments can then go in and actually deal some damage, whereas normally fragments also have a similar problem when hitting heavy armor. This is a very good test subject. Yeah, I'm still not entirely sure what to do. Realistically, I think the best use of fire would be loads of fire, but then heavy focus on the advanced cannon I'll be adding very, very soon. So fire really is just a secondary. Then more torpedoes with more explosive warheads. That's probably going to be the end build. Maybe a particle cannon, since particle cannons also ignore water. It's sad, but it's time to do some major redesigning. We're about to hit difficulty 30, we're already facing enemies near 200,000, and with the 80,000 resources I've managed to collect, we can bring this to about 160,000 total, which will be enough for our very first railgun installment. So what I'm going to do is bring all of this a lot more forwards, make it nice and flat on the top, and then I think I'll have a bit more superstructure a bit further back. I probably won't have enough resources to start renovating the back section of the craft just yet, so it is going to look a little bit odd, but what's important is that we have a better front section with more armor and an actual general purpose weapon other than just missiles. I love missiles, I'll always be using them, but what I'm hoping is by the end, they're not the only weapon we have. They're not the main weapon. We definitely want the extra weapons as well. The amount of times I create something for like an hour only to completely remove it. Now, thankfully, it hasn't been quite that extreme this time, but this is the 6th attempt at building a little front hull to this, because I kind of wanted it to be a bit weird, and I wanted it to be a bit more functional, then I changed my mind again. I think I'm happy enough with this. It's going to be very flat on the top for now. We're going to have the railgun about here in the center, and because it's so flat on the sides, it's going to be incredibly easy to expand later. Now, because we're going with very expensive weapons, I really want large and potentially even huge missiles, for instance. We're going with railguns and particle cannons. We're never going to be a truly massive craft. In fact, there it is, the blackcurrant. So the blackcurrant costs 1.1 million, but it honestly isn't that big for its cost. You can see here, compared with our sub, it's not that much bigger. I would say about double the size, but the cost is monumental. And the reason is very, very big weapons. And that's kind of what we're going to go with as well. So absolutely massive missiles, railguns, particle cannons, they're all super expensive. So hopefully, even though this hull isn't particularly big, it should keep us going for quite a while. Now, let's remove that because, as usual, I tend not to spawn in designs to try and get inspiration because I am awful for just copying things I see. I am just dreadful for it. So anytime people ask me to take inspiration from XYZ design, I tend to just not do that because, yeah, I'd rather just my mad designs stay as my own mad designs. So if we do that, we can have the front here for some decoys or something, then maybe the railgun a little bit further back here. I think this is enough space for a medium-sized, well, a very small-sized railgun to begin with, but we can always expand it later. Try to add some more armor to the sides. It is a shame we're now losing the weird fish shape I'd already built, because honestly, I do really like this. As a starter design, this may be my favourite starter design. This thing's looking pretty chonky at this point, so what I'm thinking is railgun here, some superstructure here, cruise missiles all along the back, similar to the blackcurrant, kind of having just a flat space there, and then torpedoes all the way along the sides here at the bottom, which all fire out diagonally, which I think will look absolutely awesome. Don't know where I'm going to put the interceptors, I guess just anywhere I have space once everything else is in. We definitely still need the anti-torp stuff, otherwise we'll be absolutely devoured by things like the steel striders, and I think the lightning hoods have some submarines. I'm trying to think who actually has subs. Obviously the steel striders do. Obviously the twin guard do. I don't really know other than that, because normally when I see a sub I kind of just run. The conversion is nearly complete, and honestly it is a bit more extreme than I originally thought. I was going to keep some of the back section, but instead we're just going with this. Now, there's a couple of things I will change the next time we upgrade, but overall, I am reasonably happy with it. Obviously, the back section still needs to be complete. Now, originally, I was going to have the advanced cannon somewhere here, but instead, I think I'm going to place it here, have more of a mounted section to it, so it looks a bit more secure, and then have the superstructure a little bit further back than I was originally going to place it. So originally, the superstructure was going to go somewhere, well, start somewhere around here, and end probably here, but instead, that's going to be pushed back about 3-4 meters, starting about here instead, maybe a little bit further than that, and ending about there. I still think they'll look fine. The front section, instead, I think I'm going to have purely for defense. Right now, it's just a big empty gap. This could be layered armor, everything else, so we just make sure our sub faces the target, and then we have the interceptors on the side, cruise missiles at the back. That's how I currently want this set up, and then the sides will have the regular torps. Now, if I would go back in time and change one thing about this, I think having these sides a bit more flat, a bit more flush with the top, and the top section going out a little bit further, so all this could be a bit more flush, would be a bit better. I'm not a massive fan of how I've done these weird armor sections on the side. I thought they looked better in my head. So those will be changed next time we upgrade. For now, I'll leave it as it is, because honestly we don't have that much resource in expanding the armor another layer, making the craft another meter thick. I think we don't really have the resources for. I'm only just about going to be able to afford the gun, honestly. Yeah, I think that could work. I was going to finish off the back section, then I got distracted by trying to make turrets. I'm definitely stealing some design ideas from Steel Strider submarines. I'm not sure which ones, though. It's probably a weird amalgam of many of them. But okay, I am relatively happy with how this is turning out. Eventually, I do want to use bigger propellers. I think... Am I correct? Which is a very rare thing, I must admit. If we go to steam engines, I think if you just go with a medium one of you, then a couple of these... I don't think you actually need the steam engine, I think this should work as well. Yeah, so there we go, this is a super easy version, not exactly optimal, but if you just go with the crank motor, you can attach it to the shafts and then directly to the propeller, and these will be stronger than the regular propellers and look far better because they're just bigger. I'll use those in the future. I kind of wish I used those to begin with now, but I didn't even think about that until just a moment ago, so we'll just leave that as it is for the time being. Sure. Guess I should probably armor up these propellers as well, shouldn't I? What if I put them a little bit further into these fins? Then we can do some mimic work to armor them, quote unquote. Well, I do this every time because it works. There we go. They're even the right size to begin with. Fantastic. Then we could add some more stuff to the front as well to make it look more actually connected. How would this look? Yeah, that's fine. Don't even want to spend too much time doing mimics, so sure. 21 meters per second, we're not exactly fast. We will move over to the larger propellers later. Testing out the railgun. Yep, that's why heat shells are so nasty. Yep, AI dead. Straight away a kill there on the cat shark from the Steel Striders. That thing cost 115,000, only took a couple of shells. So for anyone who doesn't know how heat shells work in this game, yeah, you just saw them with little yellow fragments. Essentially, you hit the target, that then spawns fragments inside the armor of where you just hit. These fragments will deal damage, causing massive internal explosions. Now, normally, bigger shells are better with these just because of how high explosive stacks and powers the heat shell element, which is the shaped warhead. I'll just quickly go to that now. But it is just really, really nice for doing internal damage. There we are, the shaped charge head then takes all the explosive damage from the warhead bodies and then adds more fragments and more damage to the fragments. Not exactly how it works in real life, but yeah, there's the game mechanics anyway. Okay, I think we're pretty much done now. So, we have the outer armor and inner armor done. There's loads more than was before. There are more interceptors than we had before, which means we should be pretty much immune to enemy torps. Our railgun is done. It's tiny, but obviously it can work, as we've seen in the past. There we go. And I've even set it up so now the cruise missiles have their own AI. That way I don't have to hold down fire every single time. So we can focus on our other weapons. Let's just make sure these are all working as they should. Yes, I am still going with fire. Why? I don't know, other than just fun. And honestly, I quite like how it looks. I think I preferred how the old one looked, but I like this one as well. I don't have the torps set up yet, and I don't have the superstructure on the top, which is mostly going to be just for visuals, because I have run out of resources. I had 80,000 to play with, I've spent 70. We're going to have almost no resources for ammo and fuel and everything else, so this is where it is. Honestly, I think it's quite good. I think it's going to be a pretty good general-purpose craft, and I think it's going to be quite hard to destroy. Especially with all the armor we now finally have. We have at least 2 or 3 layers of armor pretty much everywhere, including some space armor. We should be pretty difficult to destroy. In addition to the interceptors as well, against the one enemy type, which can actually hurt us, other subs. Good burner you are. Oh, yep, their vitals being knocked out by those heat shells. Don't really need to do that. Just wanted to make sure they worked over actually longer range than I thought. And there we go. Into difficulty 30 will now meander. Okay, cram cannon shells exploding all around. We're being chased by a mice, and over there is an Alcazar. Two fairly big enemies, both of which are far more expensive than us. The Alcazar is the most annoying because it's going to drag all of our missiles towards it, and it has really good anti-munition defenses. Now, another thing is, although I haven't seen any sonar, this one keeps getting really close to hitting us. So we are being a submarine, and we are running further into the depths. We can go to minus 200 very easily here. I'm hoping my advanced cannon will still hit, even from all the way down here. Let's see. If I am there. Okay, cool. So we can try and assassinate it using the heat shells, which won't really work that well against Onyx Watch. Far too many air gaps. What's going to happen is they'll hit there, the fragments will spawn, and yeah, there's just gaps everywhere like this. Really wish I had my torps, because that would be the best thing to fight them with, but I don't currently have them. If I fire my missiles, there's no way at this altitude they're going to be able to get above the water. Oof. We are being hit way more than I'd expect this far down. I guess they can both see us. First fight where us being a sub isn't actually helping us that much. Okay, let's get back to the surface. I'm going to fire my missiles and my advanced cannon, or the Alcazar. Let's see if we can take that out first. Okay, I have heat shells. And, okay. Oh, I should definitely be firing these then when I fire my missiles, because it is triggering its anti-munition defense. That way we can exhaust it, and hopefully the missiles have a better chance of actually getting there. Altitude is now minus 90, we're getting close to missile range. Oh no, they went after the mice. That was unexpected. Does mice have any anti-munition defense? A little bit, but not enough. Brilliant. Okay, the mouse is burning. I'll just keep on firing missiles then for now. Okay, the second wave of missiles were stopped by the Alcazar, so I've added some reinforced bodies at the cost of fuel, which means we do have to stay somewhat close to the enemy right now. But these now have significantly more health. And yet still being shot down, but not all of them. Beautiful. That's what I wanted to see. Look at that gorgeous fire. Just keep firing the railgun, try and exhaust that munition defense. I'll just leave the AI on now for the cruise, so it'll just automatically do it over and over again. Since I've been in such a short range, I've been able to swap over the missiles from fuel to pure warheads, which means they're doing way more damage. It's been a full day-night cycle, but look how much damage the fire is now doing since it's been stacked up with so much fuel. The Alcazar's munition defense is also offline. Now, we haven't got away unscathed. I am now like 10,000 resources down, just repairing here and there. The main thing which was hurting us was the mortars from the... I forgot what it's called already. The other one, the mace. This thing's mortars were hitting actually surprisingly often, but it seems that they're broken now as well. So it's just a matter of slowly burning them out. Once again... Oh, never mind, they are working. But once again, I understand. I need to swap away from fire. Will I? Who knows? But yeah, been here for like over 20 minutes. Definitely cut down for the video. The Alcazar is finally too damaged. Okay, let's waste some energy. Let's fire some heat shells at the center of the mice. Hopefully one or two of those will hit the mortars. Whoa! The Alcazar is going to heaven. Once again proving we are in fact the villains of the sea. Well, no break for us apparently. As soon as we defeated the mice, we have 3 little helicopters heading towards us. Which are very cute. The harpies. Oh yeah, my missiles are on short range still. Oh, they almost hit them still, which would have been so funny as they kind of glide around. Oh, one hit. One actually did hit. It won't be enough to kill one, but still. Yeah, a bit high up for the railgun, honestly, but we can still do some damage with it, I imagine. And with that fire, that's definitely going to go down. Okay, hitting the next one, this time actually hitting it decently, now it's a bit closer. These are surprisingly non-explosive for such small things. I really expected one good heat shot like to just detonate everything, but no. Carving out innards without really blowing it up. You're a fireball. Well, as I'm now surrounded by corpses and a red portal, time to go back to the sandbox mode and finally give ourselves torpedoes. So last time the issue was we didn't just have enough burst damage. These are large missiles and are set with pure high explosive. They should absolutely rip things apart. Yep, look at that. Immediate 500,000 damage. Of course, this can only be used against other ships and torps, but still, that's going to be the bulk of our damage. I'm going to add some small torpedoes as well, and that'll be pretty much all the money we just earned. Because these things are very, very, very expensive and very, very big. Also need to armor all this up, so I'll be back once I've changed up the hull a bit on the front and added some smaller torps, which I'm going to add along the corners here, I think. Okay, so we're adding a tiny little top section here, which honestly is going to be not much bigger than this now. Just a tiny little roof section and a walkable section here, as if we're ever going to surface. And then on the front, I've added loads of heavy armor to protect the torps. The torps have heavy armor just coating them all over on the inside, in addition to a few layers of metal pretty much everywhere, and then hatches on the front. So in theory, they shouldn't get taken out by the first very tiny torpedo to hit them. In theory. I was going to add some more torps and everything else, but it turns out these are just so expensive, they are now our most expensive weapon system, and I have no more money left. The launchers are 2,400, and the gantries are 800 each, and we have lots of them for these missiles. On the upside, they are hitting for 500,000 if they all hit, so I guess it is worth it, it's just more expensive than I originally thought. The torp swarm will come later. I feel like it nearly looks good. That's kind of the look I'm getting from this right now. I think I know how I want it to look in the end. This is its weird, gangly teenage phase, where nothing is quite as it should be, but it's kind of getting there. There's a crossbones in the distance. Now that's not a sight I would love to see. It's got some pretty good anti-missile stuff, although it is made of wood, so it burned pretty well. Actually hitting it without a limited amount of missiles is not gonna happen. It's also significantly more expensive than we are. Not sure what to do about that. We could just go through the portal and ignore it, to be completely honest. Oh, never mind, the missiles got through, no problem. A new enemy has arrived, that's fine by us, if it distracts the crossbones. Not the crossbones actually been hitting very well, to be completely honest. Added some more reinforced bodies to the missiles, because a few of them were being shot down, though it seems like their anti-munition now is just offline. The torps have been, well, you can see where the torps have been hitting, that's just nasty. They're so slow when they do hit. Look at that, just collapsing whole sections. The top section on fire as well. I'd say that's the crossbones out of the running at this point. It's also being hammered here by this fellow. He's a Steel Strider. Of course, Steel Striders. Okay, on the hold fire now until the crossbones is gone. Get my ammo back, get my energy back. Just sit here now. There's no need for us to keep fighting. The crossbones was incredibly vulnerable to submarines. I mean, I guess I'll just take some shots with our railgun, I suppose. Let me fire there. We're hitting? I think we are. Yeah, I'm seeing explosions. Yeah, oh, and there goes one of their main cannons straight away. Didn't even have to zoom in for that one. Okay, start moving again. That thing seems to be able to see us. Still got reinforced bodies on the missiles, meaning they'll do less, but they'll be much harder to take out. Well, actually, not necessarily do less, because it means they do more thump damage now. Beautiful, look at that. It hit two of the... well, hit the armor on that gun, hit the gun itself there. Lovely. The back gun gone as well. I think we have two very good victories here before we go to 35. Did not need to fire the railgun there. The torp did its job for us. I'm saying things weirdly at this point because it's now 2 AM. Come on, heat gun, do your job. Must have disconnected by now. Just saw loads of fragments go directly through it. The torps are even more effective than I originally thought, to be completely honest. They're so slow, fast targets are never going to be caught by them, but we can speed them up slightly. Yeah, we got far nastier by adding those. I'll keep the resources for now. I think I want to save up 150,000. I would like a hull renovation on the front and the back. I kind of want to go back slightly to the style we had earlier. I also want some new engines, because as you can see, we are running out of engine power and battery almost every single fight. Either new engines or stay with our radiation power and just go more and more into RTGs, which at the moment is all we have. Okay, I finally changed some of the missiles up, so now the ones on the right here are all fragment missiles, ones on the left are remaining fire. Yes, it took me that long to finally change them after mentioning changing them maybe 100 times. Okay, so their torps have been knocked out by us, I believe. I can see the anti-torp damage there in the top right, and I can't see them closer. Yep, these have survived, so that's great. And at least one of our torpedoes has hit the target. In fact, loads have. 732,000 damage there from our own torpedoes. Wonderful. Opened up the side completely. Looks like it's destroyed some of their engine. I should also have mentioned this is the Iron Cordon from the Onyx Watch. I got so into just checking out the enemy's weapons, I completely forgot to talk. So yeah, a little bit more expensive than us still. Oh, it has a laser munition defense, although we have just taken out its engines, which means, yep, the missiles all hit. Wonderful. So it's now got an inability to defend against our missiles, whereas we can just hit it constantly. I shouldn't really get any closer. We should stay nice and far away so we have maximum opportunity for our anti-torps to do their work, which they are doing fantastically. I'll just keep on firing the torps every time I can. I did change them to frags, didn't I? Did I accidentally remove... I've removed a fuel piece from those missiles. I was thinking I didn't see any frag damage. There we go. This time some fragment damage, instantly knocking out one of its guns. Really, though, the victor here are the torps. I mean, it doesn't look like the frags are doing much, then you see the confetti, and actually they are. They're doing about 100,000 between them each time. We could make them stronger, but I do also want them to be long range. It's a bit of a difficult choice. Also, they do have 2 reinforced bodies each, which is increasing their health, but also decreasing how much payload they have. I think I need to start changing them depending on the enemy. Either way, we're pretty much guaranteed a victory here. They can't defend against us, and we're just peppering them now. Just before going through the portal to difficulty 40, this thing showed up. And just after I removed some of the fins from the missiles, what I need to do is make them less jack-of-all-trades. At the moment, the problem is they have reinforced bodies, they're more difficult to shoot down, they have the... I'm going to leave that in because the dog just walked in and scared the absolute life out of me. What I was about to say is, at the moment, they're 2 general purpose. They're long range, they're difficult to shoot down, they have signal processors so they don't get distracted, and they were even agile as well. They had everything except for a decent enough payload. So what I just did was I removed a lot of the fins, they're far less agile, but then replaced it with more of a payload, and as you can see, they do more damage. I think I just need to change them at the start of fights, and stop trying to have a missile that does everything, or build multiple missile types and fire whichever one is more useful. Or all of them at once, most likely. I think this is enough fire damage. It's probably going to be finished off anyway, so I'm not going to waste any more ammo. Yeah, there it goes. And into difficulty... Ooh, almost actually wandered into it by mistake. Into difficulty 40. Once again a duo fight, and this time it's 2 swarms versus each other. Ooh, look at you. So we have Scarlet Dawn versus us versus, I think that's Twin Guard. In fact, I'm certain it is. We're probably safe to say... Oh, no, never mind. I was going to say all of the cruise missiles will definitely go for the larger target, but because of the angle we're firing, some of them are actually going for the small scorpion thing. I think before the fight's over, we need to start peppering this thing, because that's definitely the biggest threat, with, I believe, particle cannons. Yep, at the bottom there. If any of these can hit anything important, that'd be great. It does have some anti-missile stuff, but apparently not quite enough to take out our missiles with their reinforced bodies. Yeah, let's keep on firing those heat shells. Now, I'm assuming, though, the front is pretty much just heavy armor, so it's probably not doing that much. But I'm not entirely sure where their weapons actually are. Otherwise, I'll be trying to go for those instead. Just kind of running past them at the moment. If I can get underneath them, like there we go. Oh, it's those tiny little pipes on the top and the bottom. Okay, then. Yeah, now we're underneath the target. Our heat shells are going to be far nastier because we're hitting the bottom of the craft. One cannon already gone. Hopefully the missiles will do the rest. Do we hit yet? No, I think we're pretty much avoiding it for the time being. And one last particle cannon on the top. There we go. I think that was it. Now I'll just rely on the missiles. The heat shells are great at disabling sections, but just don't do any bulk damage, like, at all, so it's best to just wait for the missiles to do the rest. The fire is tearing through. Now, fire against heavy metal is, well, heavy armor is interesting, because heavy armor is incredibly fire resistant, but also flammable. So if you get enough fire damage going on, it does feed into that fire. It looks like these smaller craft are now targeting us. Probably should lob some rail shells at them. Unlikely to hit that often since they are ducking and diving, but still. Saying that, I can't imagine they'd survive without the parents. I imagine all that battery power to power those railgun shots, particle cannon shots, are probably coming from the parents, so as long as we just keep this thing on fire. Maybe I should waste some more shells at the bottom. Could try and break something. Oh, I just heard an engine misfire. Yep, the fire and the frags apparently are a good combo. They managed to get through the target, and they've disabled its engines. Oh, how annoying. They do heal each other as well. Ooh, one kind of fell into the other then, which is nice. Can we do the same again? Oh, our missiles just came around the corner. Is that one going into the water? It looks like it's almost falling. How annoying. I'm just not quite doing enough damage to down it while it's being healed. However, it's no longer being healed. Is this one bigger than the others? This one's taking way more of a punch. No, I think they're all just the regular fragments, right? Guess just unlucky with the heat shells. Okay, we need to dive a little bit then, because we're too high up currently to target properly. Or I could just rely on the missiles. That would probably work as well. That should be it. And that's enough resource for my next full overhaul already. Wow, speeding along at the moment. So very quickly, what I'm going to be doing is bringing this section here to be the new average width of the craft. I'm going to be completely removing the front and extending it just a little bit, because of course it's all going to be a lot wider now, so way more space for everything else. And that's probably going to be about it, because after that it's going to be armoring it all up and maybe adding some of the smaller torps, which I was talking about earlier. The next upgrade after this, we're going to be adding the new weapon, which will be a small particle cannon, likely going to be EMP to begin with, or Pierce, something like that, just so we can help to disable targets we're currently attacking, and then moving on to either explosive or impact in the future. This is likely never going to be our main weapon, but it's going to be how we start fights. It also means, again, if we add this to a turret, rather than adding it to the front, another weapon which can target above the water, which would be lovely. I really wish plasma worked well underwater, because I haven't used plasma in such a long time, and I really want to use it in something soon. But yeah, that's the plan at the moment. We'll see if it actually bears fruit. Trying to use a lot more of the offset blocks this time around, which gives this kind of effect to the edges. I know that the Steel Striders like the I want to call it the Tsunami, I think I called it something else earlier, uses this at the front, so expect a lot of similarities with the Steel Strider designs, because I'm definitely taking a lot of inspiration from them. I'm not directly spawning them in, however, because otherwise I would end up just building them one for one. Probably mentioned all this earlier, but honestly, it's been a while since I've actually built last. This game has a lot of doing nothing for a very long time, and my mind is not up for that. Yeah, I think it looks alright. It's a bit blunt, to say the least. It's very, very wide at the front. I thought it'd end up a bit sharper, so I've used the 1s here. I guess I could have gone with the 2s instead. That would have made it look sharper going forwards, or perhaps even use the 3s. Okay, I'm going to save this one, then try the sharper one, but I think I'll probably go with the blunter option just because it's going to be easier to set up the torps as I want them here at the front, if it's more blunted. So this is going to be a lot sharper, and is it going to be too sharp now? So normally with my designs, I like the more blunted look, but I'd be willing to change it up a little bit. Yeah, I think I prefer that. Not sure. Yeah, I think I'll go with this for now. It won't be the final front section anyway. It looks a lot more like I remember seeing as well, so definitely more inspiration heavy, which is fine, I guess. Then we're going to go all weird with the sides again, to be fair. Okay, so I think what we're going to do is add 2 more torps to the front, so we have 6 like this. I'm relatively happy with the front. I'm not sure about this little raised section I've made. I'm thinking it's looking a bit too much like my normal ships and less like a sub, but I do kind of like it, even with this silly little spike on the front. That might change later. This won't be the final front anyway. It doesn't matter too much. I'll be doing the side stuff in a second. There's going to be way more armor for the core now, and with the extra set of torpedoes, this front section is just even stronger now. With 6 of them, as we've seen before, these can absolutely pack a punch, even when there's only 4. Still keeping the same defenses at the moment. And then once this side is done, there'll be plenty of space to build. I mean, look how much empty space we're going to have here. It's going to be ridiculous. So this will be the last upgrade for a good few levels, hopefully. Need to increase the size of the railgun or change it for the particle cannon very soon. In fact, we could just go and straight away change it for the particle cannon. Then re-add the rail later. Not entirely sure. Can just keep on building. It's just becoming a lot chunkier more than anything. Sometimes it's easier to just remove a whole section. And now you can see all the little bits of mimic work I've done. So that also contained a lot of our ammo store. Then it's just the missiles and a block of armor there. So probably should cut it a little bit more to about there-ish. Let's see. Okay, do that. There we go. And sure. I'll quickly remove all those all those mimics, and then we can start armoring this up properly. You can see the, like, evolution of the craft here. We have this crushed up shell in the middle. We have a little bit of space armor, but clearly not enough. And it's because this was the original size and expanded again. This back section got kind of neglected. The front, incredibly heavily armored, all done properly. The back, a little bit weird. That's why we're remaking it all now from scratch. And let's just quickly delete all untethered decorations. So it doesn't look quite as much bigger than it actually is. There's loads more space on the inside and also more armor. It's a little bit longer, and the back section especially has been significantly widened. So we can have some more engines, more ammo, lots of stuff at the back, in addition to some more fins. I'm also going to be adding some of the larger propellers here in the middle. Now, I was looking at some real-world designs of submarines, and I do understand I've gone a bit weird with most of this, but that's just my way of building. I look at normal things and then go, nah, and then build something bizarre instead. But I'm pretty happy with this. Just need to, you know, fill it all in now, and then redo the zoop structure and decide what we're going to do for the weapon. We can't afford a second turreted weapon at the moment because of the extra torpedoes, and I'm also increasing the amount of cruise missiles. We can't afford 2, but we can afford to replace one of them back. So it is going to be a decision between the particle cannon or just stick with the railgun. The railgun has been significantly useful so far, though particle cannons are always fun. I never know how much building to keep in these videos, because it does take hours to do anything in this game, and if I kept even a fraction of that in, these videos would be days long. So, this section here, which is currently empty and, well, a bit of a mess, will be a future turret space, or future missiles, something like the Blackcurrant will definitely eventually have large missiles, because they're just very, very powerful and very fun to watch. And then at the back, this is going to be ammo storage and something else, I'm not entirely sure, probably just general storage, and we are going to layer it with some heavy armor in just a moment. So this will be the most protected area probably in the ship, other than around the turrets. Overall, I really like how this thing came along. I think it looks kinda cool. Tell me in the comments if you agree, and also tell me how much building I should actually keep in these videos. I get so many mixed messages about that, and I can never decide. But yeah, really happy with this. Just need to re-add some of the Imperial Guard stuff, the decals, and fix all the holes. Well, let's see if this is strong enough. That's the last right over there. That's a lot of EMP hits. And it has killed the last right in one shot. Well, that was a lot better than expected. I guess the last right is not particularly EMP resistant then. Cost about the same as us right now before we add the ammo and RTGs, and one shot, one kill. So what I've got is a couple of scatter lenses. These aren't the most long-range things. Originally, I was going to go with the vertical lenses, but if we're going to go with piercing weapons or EMP, I tend to prefer the scatter because you hit so many points on the target. An EMP is almost always not about the strength of the hits, but just the location of where you hit the target. Lovely. Also, it looks like creepy eyes, and that's funny to me. And I've made it so it can't turn backwards, so we can't hit ourselves due to firing restraints. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Okay, let's test against something else, and then we'll finish off the craft. 372, okay, that's closest. Go with the Spectrum. Don't know what difficulty this is, but still, and... Oh my god, what did we just destroy? Oh, laser systems. And it's AI once again. What difficulty is the Spectrum? The Spectrum is a medium. Okay, so we won't be seeing many of those in the future since we're going to difficulty 45 next, I think. That's when you start seeing the Expert and the God... Well, not the Godlies just yet, but yeah. Honestly, the main difference I found in a lot of the difficulties you see in the Adventure Mode is just how much defense they have in their internals, and EMP protection is definitely one of those. This proves, though, this thing packs enough of a punch, even without overclocking, and it only costs us half of that energy reserve. Sounds like a lot, but we're probably only going to fire this once at the start of the fight, and that's it. Yeah, I've only just realised, if anyone's actually in this section here, that type of glass underwater would look interesting, but also the view is gonna be a little bit obscured. But left and right is fine. Overall, I am really happy with how this thing's turned out. Now, there's a few things I want to change. I'm not too happy with the paint scheme at the moment, and the turret cap is laughable, but the reason for the turret cap is because I want it to be heavy armor and a completely different design, but I am pretty much out of resources at this point. Like, dangerously low in resources. I only have 3,000 spare material, which is really bad, because that means we can run out of ammo mid-fight very, very easily. So I'm hoping the next fight we get a very quick kill, get some resources, and then we can improve our engines, change the turret cap, and do a lot of other stuff I simply ran out of time for. Also, I'm starting to stamina now because it's getting very, very late, and I'm getting very, very tired. Now, where are you? I think I'm going to ignore you, because you're a big, chunky Onyx Watchcraft, which is going to take a lot of damage to actually destroy, and I'm just going to go to the next difficulty. Hey Lathrix, when you said you ran out of money, how bad was it? There's still a hole in the bottom of the craft I actually forgot about. I also forgot to add the passive sonars. So, there we go. We can now see enemy torpedoes again. I can't fix the giant hole in it though, because then I wouldn't have enough ammo to fire my missiles. The PID is also a little bit messed up currently. I need to redo a lot of the propeller placement. Went a bit overboard on the size of this thing. But again, at least that means we don't have to do another big hull upgrade for a while, because this took way too long. We're actually getting pretty close to the maximum size, because once we start adding the large missiles, that's going to take up so much of our cost. And they're not as big as their cost would kind of hint. I mean, we can have like, let's see, well, only one there, but 1, 2, 3, like easily 10, 15 per side just in this section here, without clipping it into where I'm going to have the engine and the ammo. And that'll cost an absolute fortune and do a devastating amount of damage. I'm thinking between large missiles and disabling setup particle cannons, this thing isn't going to be too big, but it's going to be very, very annoying. It occurs to me, after I just fired some missiles, that if we had stuck with the 0 auto-detection rather than the 0.1, I would have had to use these, because I would have had to fire up a radar to actually see things above us to auto-fire the missiles. This takes all of 2 seconds and wouldn't really be a difficult thing, but I guess it is a way that having the detection set to 0.1 also benefits me, doesn't just benefit the enemies. But yeah, it's just a tiny missile system you have to build, and you just attach the radar to it, fire it up into the air, and then you can then have a vague sense of where things are above the water. That's all. Just so we can do things like this against airborne targets. Oh, I know you. You're the one with the really scary railguns, and that's kind of all you do. Well, we hit with the EMP, didn't really do all that much. Oh, without the accuracy, though, of actually being able to properly see underwater, you didn't even fire then. And do you not have any anti-missile systems at all? I don't think so, because those missiles managed to go round and still weren't shot down. A bit of a spoiler to my drone-only run, which I would certainly recommend watching. It's one of my least viewed and one of my favourites I've ever recorded. But this thing killed loads of the drones because of those railguns. It's actually a very, very scary enemy. It can one-shot designs, especially if you build too compact. It's just like a shotgun rail, but they're absolutely massive. Do we bother firing more? I need to fix this. I thought I had fixed this, apparently I didn't. Oh, is that not a mimic? I was gonna make these two blocks mimics. That's what I've done. There we go, there's the railgun shots. Oh, almost hitting me as well. That'd have been horrendous. Okay, yeah, so we do need to fire the EMP, then let's try and turn off some systems. Right in the core there. I can't fire it again. Hopefully that did something. I see random blocks falling off, so I'm assuming something went badly wrong there. Yep, out of control, it's no longer turning properly. Something broke. Ah, see? There is a mimic here, just not here. And not here. Now I've made this one a mimic. Yeah, now it fires properly. And down it goes. Finally added a block of ammo here at the back. So we shouldn't run out of ammo anymore during fights with our missiles. Ooh, shiny gun. Wait, how is that reflecting the sky? We're underwater. That is reflecting the sky, isn't it? That's kind of trippy. Yeah, we have so many torps, their anti-torp systems just isn't quite enough. So this is a Steel Strider craft. It was over 400k, so more expensive than us, which is nice. It has some really cool anti-missile systems, but not quite good enough to stop all of our missiles. And with the torps as well, we've just been kind of shredding it, to be completely honest. It's also nice to fight a Steel Strider after fighting so many Scarlet Dawn. I mean, it is fitting. If we're meant to be all Emperor-loving, it is nice to kill the Xenos, and the Scarlet Dawn are canonically aliens. But I do love these Steel Strider ships as well. Because there's something I can never do. Build more realistically. Not always completely realistic, but definitely more realistic. Actually, often very realistic. Anyway, missiles. This thing's using up pretty much all of its ammo trying to defend itself, and it isn't quite enough. It was one-sided, but it is nice to see something actually hitting us from time to time. Okay, there's Lightning Hood's craft in the distance. This thing uses lasers, right? Yeah, it does. Anything else? Oh! Yeah! They look like torps to me. Well, thank you for me having anti-torp systems then. Hold fire for now. Our missiles will still go for the capsizing ship, which is pointless. I think just see if EMP will do the job, even at a longer distance. Oh, a lot came off it. What did it actually hit? Oh, I think it's laser systems. No, not just laser systems. Also, a few local weapon controllers. If we're lucky, that actually just disabled some of their torps. Yeah, that laser system's going to do nothing to us. Far too far away in the water. Yeah, nothing. Okay, just hold fire for now. Our anti-torp systems just got activated, so it definitely fired some of them. I'm hoping that's going to stop everything. Where are they? I guess it already stopped them. It definitely did damage, so yeah. Another EMP hit. More laser systems knocked out. The EMP didn't look like it was doing that much, but it looks like the laser system can't really hurt us now, even at close range. We've taken out enough of their stuff. Probably disconnected a lot of it as well. They are a little bit too close for our missiles, though, which aren't the most agile, which is very annoying. There we go, 50k damage, and that was the kill shot. It took out the AI itself. So it took three or four of the EMP hits to completely destroy this. And honestly, only one or two to pretty much disable its weapon systems. Okay, that's a lot of extra resource for us. We'll now go to difficulty 50, and I can now add some more batteries, and some more ammo, and I guess I could start working on the large missiles. Or I could just save up for a bigger secondary weapon at the back. I'm thinking 2 turrets, one there, one here. Then missiles there. Yeah, turret there, missiles here. I'm not entirely sure what to do next. I've got a lot of different options, but I don't know which one should be the next option. I could just go with more cruise missiles, have them a bit more mixed, so they're a bit more general purpose, because there's loads of different types. Each of which are a bit more specialised, because the missiles do great. There's just not enough impact. There's not enough of them. More missiles. They're distractions, yes they are. We do have signal processors, but a lot of them seem to still get distracted anyway. The enemy, regardless, is set on fire. There are also some torpedoes on the way. There's a small drone on the back, it hasn't fired yet. I guess we just fire anywhere. Hopefully the EMP did something. I'm seeing a lot of surge protectors being taken out, so probably not. Multiple signal processors don't increase the power of the resistance, do they? Oh, it's firing missiles out, that's interesting. Gonna back up just in case, because they seem to be on a collision course directly with us. We apparently can't see that. Oh, there we go. There's our defense anyway. Just stay far back. We are still hitting the target with our missiles. Looks like our torps have hit as well now. There's another one coming in. They are being damaged by a lot of protection. This thing seems to be a lot of defense. Just stay at a distance. Those missiles are interesting. They kind of dive bomb directly at us. As long as we stay far enough away, though, I think we're safe. That's how I wanted the EMP to look. Hitting so many different locations. Lots of explosions, lots of fires. The fire's being put out, glory for the wives. Yeah, I think we've just won this one. It's kind of been shredded everywhere. Shocking it's still moving. Were those just normal torps it fired, or were they the anti-torps? We're now out of ammo. With the increase in our missile count, yep, we needed a few more, but it's fine, the enemy is sunk. Oh, we have an enemy sub. It's took a while, but finally. I don't know what you are. I don't think I've seen this one before. So, lots and lots of smaller missiles. I'm guessing you're anti-missile? I don't really know. Curious. Well, let's fire our own torps and see what happens. I could fire an EMP shot, but I think I will leave it until at least these make it to the target. I'm also going to stay still. I know that our torps are long range, I don't know about the enemy. Do I not have ballast in 2 of you? Are you a different size? Oh god, I've actually made 2 torpedoes slightly different sizes to the others. I may have, because I did redesign the armor once and then had to replace them. Well, let's ignore that, because those 2 now can't reach a sub. Unsurprising, here is a lot of anti-torp stuff. However, our torps have a lot of health. They are large missiles, after all. Yeah, that gun is anti-torp. How cool is that? Took out most of them, but there we go. And one crashes into it, and there's our EMP shot as well. Just going for where I've hit. I'm hoping that took out its defense gun. And now to fix those 2 torpedoes that can't target other things. Oh, I think I fixed it too late. It just fired before the fix took effect. Yeah, it looks like we're both going to be hitting each other with like 1 torp at a time, or a couple. Ooh, that's a lot of EMP, but that's just armor it knocked off, right? Yeah, just armor. That was a lovely EMP shot from us, though. That's a lot of vitals just being shredded out there. Sadly, nothing which I think is too vital for this particular fight, so... Not super vital vitals, but vitals nonetheless. Now, for its cost, this is a really good sub. We are more expensive than it. We're about 350, 360. No, tell a lie, we're about 400. Just have to double check. Surge protectors did their job there. I haven't been hit again, though, since that first strike. Is that about to change? Incoming torp. It's damaged, so it won't do too much, at least. Where did that hit? Missile system? No, our second AI core. That just contains the stuff for general processing. So basically not our AI. Anything attached to it instead. There we go, we have a kill. Yeah, what a good design. That is a really, really cool sub. Honestly, I think we just beat that because of pure size. I'm not sure if we would have won if we were the same cost. I will say, though, we have a lot more general purpose stuff, just more regular missiles and everything else, I guess. If we had more anti-sub stuff, maybe, but yeah, that doesn't matter. If we'd found that earlier, that would have probably beat us. I think there's another sub. We hadn't seen one until then, and now, yeah, there's another one, which I think is trying to fire missiles at us, which is odd, but let's ignore that. Firing our torps. Turn around. Oh, that's a parcel cannon. Ooh, look at you. With your cool green glowy goo. You are the Hydrovolt, and obviously you are Lightning Hoods. Oh, I love how you've done the back section like that. That is neat. Why does every design look so much neater than mine? It's why I have to kill them. Oh, that's a lot of random stuff the EMP just took out. Okay, some detection stuff, lots of surge protectors, more radar stuff. Okay, again, probably not stuff vital for this particular fight, but still nice that it's taken out. Well, our torps... Oh, yep, our torps definitely did hit. The front of the enemy is looking a lot less nice now. There's batteries. The next load of torps might just... Oh my god, why is he getting so close to us? Go away! Shoo! Need to have a shorter load on time on this. Nope, never mind, we won anyway. Here's one thing I wish. The below 80% health and sinking rule, I wish it didn't apply to enemy subs, which are flagged as subs, because all I have to do is 20% damage to win. Now, that one did actually get disabled on the front there, so it was a win anyway, but the last fight, for instance, when I was watching it back, it still had some fight left in it, but because of that rule, it ended up self-destructing. I understand why that rule's in place, because what can happen is an enemy starts to sink, and then sinks to the bottom of the ocean, and by the way, there is no bottom to this ocean. There's no ground level. I'm going down right now, and down, and down, and down, and down, and down. It doesn't really happen. And then they'll just get stuck. So any damage should remove them from play, otherwise you get immense lag. But I do wish the rules were a little bit different. A ship on the horizon. Currently just looking for a red portal. Gonna be adding the new turret cap soon, and don't really know. I've added more missiles. What actually is that? It is the Excalibur, as you can probably tell by the side of the thing, actually. Oh, EMP taking out one of its weapons. Lovely. You love to see it, especially since it looks like that may have been anti-munition based. Oh, I was just messing around with the missiles. I think I've set them all to fire. Well, we've gone backwards. We're now right back where we started, complete fire everywhere. I mean, I'm not going to complain. It's going to be fun to see so many incendiary rounds because that's a lot of fuel in those fires, so I should burn for a very long time. Quite a lot of kinetic damage as well because of the sheer amount of reinforced bodies. Whoa. That AMP took out a lot. Torp's now hitting the front of the craft. Yeah, it looks like a lot of the weapons are just offline now. Is it even shooting down the missiles at all at this point? I can't see any, no. That's going to be a lot of fire damage stacking up each time. Do I even fire the particle cannon anymore? I think I need to back up, actually. It's getting too close to us. Oh, that thing could just not fight our sub. What a shame. I really do like the Excalibur. I stole one once in a adventure run. There we go, EMP directly into the core. Ah, look at that rubber protecting everything. Hopefully it took out something. Yeah, problem with fire. As the ship sinks, the fire does get taken out. Shockingly, water does take out fire. I know. Oh, it does have torps. Yeah, I haven't been hit by them, though. I've stopped firing the missiles for now. I think the fire's done all it's going to do. Just going to rely on the EMP and the torps at this point. All this section's been burnt down. That's what I do love about fire. It just levels it. It's like Tetris. It just slowly removes line by line. And 2 damaged. It's gone. Okay, we definitely need to upgrade the craft soon, and we really need to find a red portal, please. I have never had that happen before. I was just building and I heard the portal sound. I don't think I've ever just walked into a portal like that. I've always seen it first, at least. Difficulty 55. Okay, 55, first enemy is a twin guard. It is the assertiveness, which... Did I see one of these earlier? I can't remember. Might have been a different run. I added even more missiles. I'm sorry, I can't help it. I have a problem. That is a lot of defense it has, but we just have so many missiles. Yeah, they don't do that much damage, but that lovely guaranteed damage is just so nice. There's lots of little hits everywhere. Yep, it's just taking it out. And an EMP hit there to the side. Well, not completely taken out. It is hitting us. But it is very on fire. The amount of fuel those fires have now, that's going to eventually tear through the entire sections. There it goes into the water. Oh, I don't think that'll have anything against us. This is the Aero Tyrant. It has loads and loads of missiles, but I don't think it has torps or anything like that. So welcome to difficulty 60. Here's a pretty free win. We now cost about 550, so I'm trying to go up a few difficulties, then I'm going to do the next big upgrade. Note to self, make all the missiles face in the same direction. I don't know how I've done that. Or give them one turn, one of the two. Oh, so it can still fire at us. Not accurately, though. I doubt it'd be able to see us without the passive detection. No, it's getting some hits, now it's so close. It's kind of drifting more than flying like a plane, though. Does it have any munition defense? It didn't seem to the first time. Oh, that is so many fires. Looks like the fragments are doing their job when there's just so many of them. Don't know how the EMP just happened though, that wasn't from us. Did it hit itself, or did I just set something off? Not too sure, either way, plane gets disintegrated. Let's see if we can find another red portal, because that's going to give me a lot of resources straight away. Now you have a lot of anti-missile stuff, I'm almost certain, if you're the bigger version of the Onyx Watch Flyers. Which you are. What did you just knock off? So first shot, nothing. A shield generator, I think. Ooh, local weapon controls. That's always lovely to see getting knocked off. There's a lot of them though. I wonder if they even were local weapon controllers. Hoping so. We're gonna see if this is enough to overwhelm a munition defense. A good one though. Hoping so. This is what we kind of need. This is why I'm going to have so many of these missiles. They're more of a smokescreen for the large missiles later. And that's why it's so good at sapping energy-based defenses like that. Because they just front-load so much of their damage so often. So then if we had larger missiles, which are a little bit slower, they'll just cruise along after that. This thing's depleted all the energy in those laser systems. And then, bang, it loses loads and loads of health. Ooh, lots falling off again from the EMP there. Just need to keep moving somewhat erratically, even though we're not particularly quick, you know, since we are a sub. Just to make sure that main cram barrage doesn't destroy us. Oh, look at all that confetti from the frags. Lovely. And the enemy is burning beautifully. Yeah, here's wishing we can move a little bit more elegantly. I'm not going to fire the EMP anymore. I'm just going to keep focusing on moving around left and right at random intervals. It's getting way too close. It's getting way too close. Aim at the bottom. Never mind, I'm firing EMP. Let's see if we can disable one of those big guns at the bottom. Thank you for not fully being able to see me. Now, if I didn't allow this thing to have some passive awareness of us, I don't think it dropped a sonar, so I don't think it'd even be able to see us at all. That entire thing is on fire. Getting close now to 1 million fire. Well, that is actually stacking up incredibly quickly. Yep, 900,000, 920, 940, 960, 980, and 1 million fire damage. That'll be the last EMP we can use for this fight. Here's hoping it did something to these weapons or any internal vital. We are now getting to the point where the enemies are pretty EMP protected. We might want to swap it over to piercing very, very soon, in which case we need it to be a little bit bigger. So maybe the next upgrade will just be making the front cannon bigger and making it pierce. The missile's done a great job though. I always thought this thing had a very good munition defense, and maybe I'm wrong there, but this thing did overwhelm it, which is exactly what I wanted to see. It means when I eventually add those large missiles, we've already got the smoke screen perfectly sorted. So one of the enemy hits managed to completely obliterate our torpedo system, and because of that, all the money I just made from that, I've just added loads more heavy armor and a little bit of space armor to the very front of the craft. I think I'm going to stick around for one more fight in 60, then we'll head over to 65 and do some upgrades to the craft. I'm just thinking the particle cannon needs to be bigger, and we're going to be swapping over to pierce weaponry. I went to deal with my dog, who's currently whining because he wanted some food, and I came back to this. I was not aware I was under attack. It looks like these are breaking through our defense. Yep, those things have lots of health, don't they? Oh, they're EMP. I was wondering why I wasn't seeing all that much damage. We're not particularly EMP vulnerable, especially at the front of the craft. Okay, this is the big hydrofoil, isn't it? Well, at least that means the top is going to stay out the water quite a lot. I don't know if the torp's really going to work here, because it's so out of the water so much, but we're going to try anyway. Oh, that'd have been such a good angle then, but sadly I'm still charging up the EMP. I would have been able to get underneath its hull. Would have been ideal. So there's our torps. They are kind of... yeah, they are figuring out where it is. Good, good, good. Oh, lovely EMP hit there. I think we just took out its defense ring, which means now our attacks are going to do far more damage. Oh, I wish our torps hit some of its propellers then. That would have been great, but sadly not. We are tilting horribly. What did you hit? No way did the EMP actually manage to take out our PID. Okay, we need to stop, otherwise we're going to sink to the bottom of the ocean. You're flying, it seems. But I hit exactly where I wanted. Lots of stuff knocked off there. Yeah, all sorts of components just got taken out. Okay, are we straightening back up? It looks like we are. Yeah, okay. Didn't take long to repair. Must have just knocked off the PID, then not like loads of different propellers and everything else. The PID is currently encased in rubber and has surge protectors, so I must have built it wrong, or that was a very lucky set of EMP hits. Our PID is more important than any other design I've built because we're a submarine. Ooh, you've stopped moving. Why? Oh, just because you're out of the water so much. The waves aren't your friends. How are we looking? Still tilting. At least our altitude's sorting itself out. Not really taking much more damage though, and the enemy is very much on fire. I think we've got this, we just had a very unfortunate hit against us. Kind of floundering a bit. I'll make sure to turn the engines off and on so we don't end up sinking or floating all the way to the surface and losing the game that way. There we go. Falling on your side, hopefully you'll sink soon. And we're back fully in control. Yeah, after that last attack, it hasn't really hit us. I think we've taken out its torpedoes at some point, so we're completely immune to its damage. That gun is not re-aiming at us, it's always trying to defend against missiles, which it just isn't quite enough. Beautiful. There we go. Okay, well, good to know about that apparent weakness. I'll work on that right now before we go through the portal. We have a bulwark. I was about to go through the portal, I was just making some changes, and this thing appeared, so I guess one more fight it is. It has some laser defense, right? Yeah, it does. Nowhere near enough. Fantastic. Instantly setting fire to one of the caps and the main body there. Hopefully our torps will be on the way soon. I think the enemy has some torps as well, but our defenses I'm hoping will be enough for that. So much empty space. Okay, I'm going to start adding the larger missiles now. So these medium missiles are going to be one further out. I'm going to change the armor up later to protect this section a little bit better. But this should be enough. So I'm going to have one layer on the sides here for now. But again, that'll be changed later on. I won't be able to afford all of these at once because these are just so expensive. The launcher itself is 2,400, and every single gantry is 800, and we're going to have lots of those for these missiles. Maybe I'll be able to afford 6, but I'd like to be able to space it out so I know where I'm putting everything. Testing out some large missiles, so these things are pretty big, they're taking up all of this space here. They're high explosive with some reinforced bodies, they should be able to survive quite a lot. Yeah, munition defense there. They're still going, still going, still going. They were not stopped at all. 604,000 explosive damage. And 201,000 just thump damage because they're very big missiles with reinforced bodies. What does that actually translate to? Okay, so this whole section here is gone. That's one of the one of the guns is gone. One of the rotors, I think, is missing as well. All this heavy armor has been sheared, so massively weakening this central section. Opened up here. That was... No, that's just a jet. Okay, not bad. But anyway, this is the Thunderclap. It's got munition defense and a lot of health, so I think it's a pretty good test subject. I'll fire again in a moment. Okay, second round. Here's hoping they hit similar places to really capitalize on the damage. And of course, normally, these would be coupled with the cruise missiles. Not really meant to be on their own. Oh, that is so beautiful. And 2 rounds, and we have an AI death. They managed to core the thing out. Yep, those missiles are definitely what I'm going to be going with. Absolutely stunningly beautiful. And they also have a signal processor and a regulator, so these things are pretty good. Actually, I think I may remove the regulator. I don't think I'll be using these as super long-range weapons. So another reinforced body for more health would be probably what I go with, because it not only adds more health, it also adds more of that impact damage. Is it called thump damage? No, it's not called thump damage unless you actually add the thumper, isn't it? Let's have a quick look-see. It's not called the thumper either. Let's just have a quick look-see what I'm actually trying to talk about. Oh, it is called the thumperhead. Does that change the damage type? I think it does, right? It does change it. I'm not entirely sure on that. Let's just actually make a missile so I can look at the stats. Oh no, it's still just counted as impact damage. Okay. So this is the Hunchback. This thing terrifies me, honestly. Okay, once again, missiles did get through. They hit the back, which is exactly where I wanted them to hit, actually. And that's going into the water. Oh, it just broke it completely. What a perfect hit. Oh my god, yeah, it completely broke through the heavy armor there and must have took out the AI. Never mind, these missiles are awesome. I love them. They're my favorite new thing. So nice to be using high explosive again. Now, to be honest, if we had hit the front, that result wouldn't have been the same. That was, like, ridiculously ideal. The front of the Hunchback is just layered heavy armor for, like, 10 plus meters. This wouldn't have broke through that. But still. And though, just for reference, this missile system here costs in excess of 100,000 resource. Over a sixth of this entire design is now just that. That little lump there. Difficulty 65, we have the larger missiles. Our first enemy is a Lightning Hoodscraft. Oh no! That was an instant kill. Apparently it was incredibly vulnerable to EMP. What? I don't think I've ever one-shot a difficulty 65 enemy before. That really needed some surge protectors around the core. That was silly. I mean, I'm seeing some rubber, but... No, wait, that's not rubber, that's fuel, isn't it? I don't really know where the AI truly is, but yep, that was not the best first test, because I wanted to fire the big old missiles, which at the moment stick out very weirdly on our craft. Ignore that for the time being. I kind of ran out of money. I thought. I did the maths wrong. I have like 84k, but I'm about to get some more now as well, so... Probably another major renovation really soon. This video is going to be so long. I've looked at the footage. I already have enough for like 5 or 6 hours to use. I've been recording for days and days now, but yeah. Probably going to try and cut it down. 3 hours at most for the video. It's just been so long-winded compared to most of the playthroughs. I'm sure a lot of people have yelled at me as well. Why am I so close to the surface when a sub can be anywhere underwater? And it's just because the missiles take so long to breach the surface, even when you have all of the ejectors. Well, my missiles now have all of the ejectors, and we're now at minus 70, so we are 70 meters below the waves. So, it's better than it was. It was like 35 before. It's still pretty shallow looking, but it just means the missiles can activate a lot faster. We could go a lot further down if we wanted to be completely safe and then let the missiles kind of just float up and then eventually go towards the target, but that's lifespan that they're not going to have going towards the enemy, since they do eventually detonate by themselves. Okay, now we have a choice. So that's a blue portal. That will take us 20 or 25 levels ahead. We're currently on 65, so that would put us right in the end game. We're currently at 600k resources, so we're not actually that expensive for that level of difficulty. So the choice is, do I go through the red portal and just continue, or do I camp around here for a while? Oh, there's an enemy now. And what we could do is just save up 200, 300,000 resource, do a big overhaul, and then just jump some difficulties. What even is that? Direct it with the EMP. Just trying to aim at us with... Oh, is this the Warlord I want to call it? I know what it is. Yes. I don't know what you can do against me. You clearly can't aim with your lasers, so... What do I do? And what did the EMP surge do? Some shields down, a little bit of laser system damage. I know you have pretty decent munition defense. But I don't know if you can really hurt me. You obviously have that particle cannon, but that's not designed to aim down. So, oh, maybe it is, never mind. But I think if I get close enough, that'll probably be nullified. That angle can't be that good. So I get a bit closer before firing, maybe that would be the best. There we go, fire the large missiles as well, so they're mixed in with that swarm. Oh, do the large missiles have signal processors? I can't remember. Okay, so the large missiles all hit the side. Is there a radar decoy built in here? I'm not sure, because that was weird. They all went for the same spot. Still completely obliterated it, though, so that's one wing just gone. The rest of the missiles all hitting their mark. That's actually a lot of damage done. The large missiles not really showing their best there, but even taking out a wing helps. That's a lot of jets. Oh no, the jets managed to survive. Why does everything I'd want to die, survive? It's very rare I want things to survive on an enemy, to be completely honest. Okay, I guess just... do I even bother firing the EMP again? Didn't really do all that much. And the enemy does seem to be really struggling to hurt us. Lots of munition defense, but not enough. We just have so many missiles now. We are complete spam. We're actually pretty glass cannon-y, because for our cost, we can do quite a lot. Okay, large missiles away. Again, I cannot remember if I actually have signal processors, so hopefully that wasn't a distraction. It just happened to hit that one spot. Okay, the lag's so bad the explosions didn't render, but that's the core badly damaged. I don't think the front's functional anymore. It's definitely on fire. No, I see the particle cannon still. Why does everything I say get immediately corrected? Just like immediately. Give me a few seconds, you know? Where people might actually think I know what I'm talking about. Never mind, the EMP is doing great work. Oh god, they went straight through the craft then. Super on fire. Oh my god, that EMP hit though. That's all the laser systems gone. I mean, it must be, right? That was just like an entire craft's worth. Well, the enemy didn't really hit us again, and after a good 5-6 minutes, we have won. Now, we have 253,000 resources. I would like another 100,000 or so, because to be completely honest, we are going to go through that blue portal. We're currently 600k, that takes us to 850, well, less, because we need some for ammo. I would like our craft to cost 850 to 900k, then that way we're really on par for the level. I'm not going to under-level like I normally do and really super rush. I would like to be at least 1 million before difficulty 90. I think the Blackcurrant, which is the largest sub from the Steel Striders, is like 1.2 mil? Okay, we have a twin guard there in the distance, the Amusement. Total cost about 700,000. Doesn't seem to be able to hit us very well though, so once again, a submarine showing that, yep, submarines are silly. How are missiles doing? Oh, there is another enemy spawning in based on that lag. Where though? I don't know. Guide me, missiles. Oh, behind it. Okay, I saw both of their targets and kind of merged them in my head. What happens if I hit the top with EMP? The bottom was ridiculously... Oh my... No, that had to be the missiles. Just really well timed there. Okay, I'm just going to continue to slowly move towards that. Let's start firing the torps, because that is definitely hittable with those. Oh, it seems at least one enemy has torps of their own. There they are. That's a lot of health, but we can chew through them. Lovely. Oh, all of our missiles are hitting, so are the attacks from the other ship. That twin guard is not having a nice time. I think I should focus on the big old ship. Okay, direct hit with the EMP. I'm seeing a few things fall off. Hopefully something vital would be lovely. This is the... I can't pronounce that, but there it is. With the penguin. I can pronounce penguin, innit? Twin guard down. That thing bounces a lot in the water, doesn't it? That might actually be a problem for the torps. I mean, that's actually a little bit lower than I expected it. But I haven't seen a torp hit yet. Oh. That would be why. Okay, it has a lot of torp defense. And a lot of anti-missile defense. Did that just stop the entire attack? Oh my god. The missiles are almost hitting us. Okay, I might need to change up the missiles slightly so they have some more physical warheads. Because that is way too much munition defense. Look at that, that's so much. What a well-protected craft. That is so defensive, more than anything else. Okay, with the extra reinforced bodies and me trying to stagger the missiles, we are overwhelming. Oh, we are really overwhelming it. Lovely. Sure, the missiles aren't as strong as they used to be, but that did get through. We have been hit by at least one torp, though. Their torps, I believe, are using heat. I have ducked as well, so now we're at minus 200 meters, because their missiles were getting scarily close. Once in a while, they were just about scratching us. And obviously, we couldn't allow that. Oh my god. Wait, are those missiles that turn into torps? Ow. Well, that's a problem. Thankfully, we are hurting it back now. I would say this is the first proper threat we've faced, and I am loving it. Yeah, we're so deep. Look, the water is just so impairing all of our missiles. And I'm out of ammo for now, so I'm going to hold back fire until I've recouped a bit so we can fire the large missiles with. Actually, you don't even need to. It seems like their munition defense has been stopped. No, it hasn't been stopped, but it's been slowed. Can't find another EMP surge because we are out of batteries. Potentially because the batteries have been damaged. The warning came up then that it's sinking. Oh, our torps are all getting through. Oh, I didn't even see that. The entire time, our torps have been just chewing through the core of this thing. That is a hull. A hull? That is a husk. It is a hull as well, but you know what I mean. Victorious. Though, yeah, that was a proper fight. Loved that. The Emperor protects. Yeah, low health and sinking as well. It's gone. We'd taken so much damage, we didn't really get any resources from that. Crucial takeaways. I like how many missiles we have. Being able to swap to reinforced bodies means we can overwhelm a lot of defenses. EMP can be utterly useless, like in that fight. And we still need more ammo and RTGs, because we always need more ammo and RTGs, apparently. They're things I will add once I increase the size of the craft. So I think what's going to happen is when we start redesigning, I'm going to just copy this back section, then just add loads more, so we're just elongating the poor thing, and then re-add the back section. This new section will mean the missiles can go lower than they are currently, so they're not sticking out like that, and we'll have plenty of space here in the core for more engines and ammo, which will be a lot more armoured up. Other than that, just finally need to replace that front gun, and maybe add a small railgun, but I think we're going to stick with the particle cannon, probably swapping from EMP now into Pierce. Now there is one enemy left. It's the base from the Twin Guard, which is really weird to see just kind of there. So, heading towards it since we need to go back to the blue portal anyway, so I guess I will have a little bit of resource gain from this fight, just not much. Surge Protectors. I mean, I'm not shocked, just Surge Protectors. So that was my piercing shot. Sadly, didn't seem to hit anything vital, but yep, it went straight through. I was hoping to hit some ammo or a gun or something because, oh, what a cute face. But yeah, it didn't quite happen. How expensive are you? How are you that cheap? That is nowhere near as expensive as I thought it'd be. There's so much to you. Huh? Are you separate parts or just been built cheap? Nice. Okay, let's see what the missiles are like. Please do your thing. Well, I'm already seeing interceptors. We're still on the extra health from that last fight, so yep, the large missiles are getting through. And they hit something very vital. Huh, there's just 2 Twin Guard bases now just floating around. Oh, that's a shame. That could have easily taken out the weapon, I think. Either way, we have the Hunchback. That thing's going to try and get really close to us really fast, so I'm moving towards the blue portal. Now, in the testing, we managed to kill one of these quite luckily by just hitting the right spot. Will that happen here? Probably not. Still, that's most of the missiles connecting there. Quite a lot of damage dealt, though actually the large missiles I think struggled. It bounced too much near the end. Very bad timing for it to move that way. Yeah, we're not going to get another shot off there. That's fine. Just... oh, it is able to really, really see us. Thankfully, our missiles are agile enough to keep hitting it. Well, actually, never mind. They're not quite agile enough. Some of them were. We need to get lucky and just remove its movement or one of those side guns as soon as possible. Oh, it's taken out my particle cannon. Okay, I can't use that because it doesn't exist at the moment. I'm just not gaining resources at the moment. I don't think we're going to lose this fight. Yep, there we go. The large missile's actually hitting that time. But, oh, why are they still, so much physical damage? Should have swapped them back. Wow, both of the side guns are still going. That is honestly very surprising. Just don't take out our main missiles, the swarm, and we should be able to brute force our way through. That's it. Keep on going. Oh, come on, fire. You're on the barrels. Just knock off a couple of blocks. That's all I'm asking. Okay, large missiles away. Hit somewhere good, please. Yep, there we go. Okay. Jeez, that was nasty. At least it shows that our vitals are pretty well protected. The turret cap obviously isn't. Thankfully, that won't cost too much to repair. Yeah, because it's literally just the cap that got knocked off. That cap is so cheap and was just placed there because of budgetary restraints. Still need more, because we're going to have to heal up, and yeah, that's a lot of holes. But look, layers of armor. Everything's good in the world. Oh, another Aero Tyrant. Yes? Yes. I've seen so many of these, their silhouette is immediately noticeable to us. Wow. Huh. Didn't expect the smaller missiles to knock off a wing like that. That was surprising. Oh yeah, I lowered the distance of the large missiles, didn't I? Let's not fire those again. And just leave it to the smaller missiles. I mean, it's on fire and it's lost a wing. I mean, that's a tragic sight for a plane. Splish. I can perceive you. What is that? That is the Tiger Shark. Okay, turn on everything. And piercing shot there. Sadly not getting through. Yeah, the piercing needs to be a little bit bigger. I will stick with the scatter lens, but yeah, the whole thing needs to be a lot bigger, otherwise we're not getting through enough layers per shot. We're firing loads of little hits, but if they're only scoring armor damage, then there's not really much point in that piercing weapon, then is there? You try and get closer. Actually, I kind of want to camp out this portal in case things go wrong. Fine, I'll get closer, just because I want to use my large missiles as well. A distraction has distracted lots of our missiles, annoyingly. One thing I'm noticing is that the physical damage we're doing because of the extra reinforced bodies is actually surprisingly good. I never look at those numbers normally because unless I'm using the thumperhead and going pure kinetic damage, I never really think of the extra damage the reinforced bodies are adding. And apparently I should because, yeah, looking back, they're the reason we've done so well with them. Oh, incoming our torps, and oh, a direct hit underneath the enemy's main turret! Oh, those things are just my favourite. Okay, this should now be enough resources to go through the blue portal. Just need to go and collect them, I think. No, actually, no, we don't. We're already in range. Perfect. How much are we going to get them? I mean, it should be a lot. That was quite an expensive design. Oh, that torp was just brutal. Yep, we're on 372, which means we can very easily go above the 800k while still having enough resources for ammo. Perfect. Going through the blue portal, then I'll go to the vehicle designer and we'll add that resource to our craft. Again, I'm probably just going to cut this back section, make it a bit longer, and then probably thicken up the side sections with a bit more armor as well. I could make it a bit deeper. Yeah, I'm still... Yes, that is exposed weaponry, because I'd never finished the bottom because I couldn't decide what to do with it. So what I'm thinking for the swarm of torps is that these are more of a crawling inevitability. They have regulators, they have extended lifespans, they have reinforced bodies for more health, and they're going to be released incredibly slowly, quite a big delay per shot. The idea is, if there's this many of them in the water, it's going to be incredibly difficult for most munition defenses to effectively stop all of them. It also acts as a shield for the larger torps, which I'm about to add 2 more of as well. I'm also tempted to add a second batch of these at the back with, again, a different speed, so that it's just peppering the water, absolutely saturating it with the torps, just so some damage gets through. I'm also making the craft wider. I wasn't originally going to, but I would have made it 1 wider here, and then this is no longer going to be the final point. We're going to add more of the external armor again, so it'll be about 3-4 meters wider on both sides. Because expanding it's a bit difficult to tell sometimes because of scale, this is how much we're adding to the back. I've also made it 3 blocks deeper, and again, 4 blocks wider on either side. I'm only just learning now what this is even called. The Aquila. The Imperial Aquila, known in ancient times as the Palatine Aquila, is a 2-headed eagle sigil which represents the entirety of the Imperium of Man. This symbol is often prominently displayed on the chest guard of the human warriors of the Adeptus Astartes, as well as commonly stenciled upon almost anything that belongs to the Imperium. Now to learn a few more things with Lathrix. First of all...
Aquila.
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 Aquila. Close enough. The Aquila is a constellation on the celestial equator. Its name is Latin for eagle. Oh, it's Latin for eagle. Well, that certainly makes sense then. Okay, now I know what the symbol is, now I know its use in 40k, everyone is happy. I should probably know these things more considering how much I reference 40k, but I never play Loyalists. The innards are an absolute mess, so I've hollowed out pretty much everything, and I've now decided on the final size of this thing, because we're never going to be bigger than this. Just the shell costs about 250,000 at the moment. Well, the shell and the torps on the bottom and the front. I obviously need to add all the internal armor, everything else, the ammo, the batteries, everything needs to go back, and finally a finished turret on the front. Will I just have the 1 turret? Honestly, I think so. I'm going to try and make it a lot more heavily armored. I'm going to lower this and have it resting on this section of the craft, and it's going to take up pretty much from here all the way to here, inside of the vehicle. So this is going to be a really, really nasty particle cannon that'll cost a fortune to fire, but hopefully, like I've seen in the past, the particle cannon can be a one-shot kill even on big designs. So between that and the just relentless barrage of missiles, I should have a lot covered, because I can always turn down the major particle cannon if the missiles aren't working. And of course, we're still hiding underneath meters of water. We are really big now. Now, if we get lucky, we're about to cause a massive frame rate drop. And there we go. Oh, both of them went all the way through. Fantastic. So you can probably see there, 2 particle cannon shots. They have both pierced all the way through the event horizon, which is layers and layers of heavy armor, destroying the main gun in the center, and thus destroying the craft. Now, this is a really extreme example. The event horizon, despite costing 2 million, can be taken down by 1 shot if that shot happens to go all the way through it. And you can see, before it completely disintegrates, it went through here, through all this heavy armor, and then destroyed the main weapon in this huge cavity before destroying the entire craft. Now, the reason why you saw only 2 beams is rather than going for the scatter lens, I've ended up going with the vertical lens because I've gone for a smaller weapon. Rather than going with 2 maxed out lenses, I've gone for 2 half maxed out lenses. And because of that, the scatter lens just wasn't doing the job by scattering all that power into multiple hits. And the reason why I've gone with that is because I still want to reattach the railgun somewhere, and this thing is just too expensive to have as the main gun. I could have gone with the long-range lens, that would have been even better, but it's just too big and bulky, honestly, and I don't want this turret cap to be absolutely massive. I want it to kind of blend in with the front a lot more than the last one. And this thing, yeah, is absolutely huge. Well, still got the kind of lump on the back, but at least this time it looks a bit smoother. So, I was taking a look, and I think I'm going to test these against the Onslaught. As long as they even hit the Onslaught, I'll be happy. This thing is made of just so much heavy armor and so much munition defense. If we land a few missiles, considering we're not using these supporting medium missiles yet, I'll be incredibly happy. So these should kind of go off left and right. Yes, they are. Perfect. Yeah, there's the munition defense, a few of them being shot down, but actually the majority are landing. Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. That was 1 million damage. It really should have been more than that, but that's absolutely fine. Well, 1 million explosive, about 500,000 physical. Yeah, I mean, it stripped away a lot of the outer armor. Sadly, this thing is, again, just a block of heavy armor, so I didn't really expect anything more. If they hit the bottom there, or some of the weapons, it would have been better. But that's fine. I mean, look at all the stuff that actually fell off. That is absolutely fine. You'd think I'll get better at kind of budgeting and figuring out how expensive things are, considering how many hours I've put in this game, but no! We are now officially running out of resource. We're about to hit 900,000, and I can't add a second gun. I can't even finish off half the stuff I wanted to do other than that. So we have all the basics currently online, so it should be functional, but there's going to be a lot of air gaps currently, so I guess on our way to 100, there's still a lot of upgrading to do. So I've reinstalled the missiles on the side. They're a bit more compact here on the back, left, and right. Obviously, we have the new large missiles, which are bigger than the old ones, and there's more of them. We have the extra torps on the bottom. With the torps on the front have more heavy armor. The particle cannon is way stronger than it used to be, and there is way more armor in the more vital areas, except for the back section, which I can't really do at the moment. So overall, this thing should be able to pack a punch and take quite a few hits. It's of course underwater. So what we need to add before the end though is I need the distractions for enemy torps. That still needs to go in. I'll see if I can afford them now. I do want a railgun, but though I'm honestly not sure if we're going to end up with one at this point. And we just need more of everything else. And there we go. Yeah, that works perfectly. All those torps now being thrown off, not actually hitting us. I do think having them a little bit higher would be better. These are, of course, just the distraction sticks. They're just loads and loads of sonar decoys and a floaty ballast, and that's it. If they were closer to the surface, though, this could happen a lot. Making the enemy torps breach the surface would be A, fun, and B, completely detrimental to their use. So yeah, I'm going to add like an extra 10 meters or so. And so, construction begins in the blue zone before we go through one of these red portals, which I believe will take us to difficulty 85. I think. Okay, apparently I'm under attack. Welcome to difficulty 85. We are against something in space, apparently. Hello there. Oh, that's a shame for you. You are just missiles, so I think we kind of just hard counter this thing? No, I can't even aim at it with the vertical lens. That must be directly above us right now. I'm hoping the missiles are in range. Oh, we're actually really far away. Maybe not. In which case, it isn't directly above us. We're just not facing the correct direction. No, weird. Anyway, the missiles have landed. Oh, the large missiles definitely landed as well. That immediately took the Archangel out. Archangel. Either way. An easy defeat. I was so not ready to record then, I just came back from the kitchen, sat down, and that immediately started happening. Well, I found out what happened. At some point, I've messed up the turret. It's only got like a 30-degree arc of fire at the moment, which is really silly. Before it could go almost all the way here, but I'll have to double check all the armor. At some point while armoring up, I've clearly made a mistake. Oh, 2 shots. Completely split from where I aimed, but by the looks of things, at least one of them has caused massive internal damage, and that would be this one. When do I hit to cause this explosion? I can't see anything explosive, funnily enough. Was it? Ooh, you have lots of missiles. You are the basking shark, but unless you have torps... You know what? I should add some fins to my craft as well at the front. I'm just thinking about how to make it look a bit more interesting on the front. Anyway, let's also fire some torps. We've had 2 very easy fights in difficulty 85, once again proving the supremacy of submarines in a lot of fights in this game. Which was the whole point of this run, to be fair. And then the little torps as well. And I think the missile's kind of sliding in there. It was at the absolute maximum of our range. Sadly, it didn't really stand a chance, although it did have some munition defense. It had no real weapons to hurt us. 2 very easy fights in 85. A little bit disappointing, but again, the whole point of the run. So after those last 2 fights in difficulty 85, we're already back in the sandbox mode. We have almost 200,000 resources to play with, which will easily put us in the 1 million mark, which is fantastic. That was the minimum size I wanted my craft to be before difficulty 100. And finally, because the design, I think, is pretty much done for the craft, except for the last weapons, we're going to summon in a couple of the Steel Strider designs. In fact, we're going to be summoning in 2 of the designs I've had in my head this entire run. The Blackcurrant, which is the largest design from the Steel Striders at 1.1 million, and the Tsunami, which I think has been what I've been copying in my head. Though it might be the Typhoon, so I'll summon in all 3 of them, in fact. Let's have a quick look-see them. So, we have the Typhoon, which is not the one I had in my head, and that's how it's doing its front fins. It's a lot wider than it is deep, unlike aircraft, and I kind of love how they've done this top section. Oh, that's from an advanced cannon, I think? Is that what they've done there to make that design? Either way, I kind of do love that. Over here, that's what I had in my head. Yep, this is the Tsunami. That is the cap I was thinking of. Once again, front fins kind of had this shape at the front, but theirs is a lot sharper. Oh, that's how they've done the back section. I knew mine was a bit weird, because I had the huge dorsal kind of sections. No, wait, would dorsal be on the back? Anyway, I had the middle section is what I meant to say. And finally, the Blackcurrant has a much more subdued back section. Once again, a lot wider than it is deep, unlike ours, which I've kind of built more like a ship, and a bit more soft on the front. And once again, the front fins. This is what I'm going to be adding to my craft. Okay, so actually kind of similar front to what I've got now. Neat. I have learned very little, but at least now I know I haven't copied them one for one. So the main issue I was thinking of is how exactly are we going to have the second turret? Because right now I kind of like the overall shape of our craft, but if we take a look at the Tsunami, it's kind of got what I want here. Although this section at the back is far flatter than ours, we could just add the back turret like this. This would mean we would need to broadside if we were to use the back gun, and I couldn't use the front and back gun at the same time. But the thing is, that shouldn't be a problem. The particle cannon at the front can only be fired once or twice per fight. It's fired at the very start of the fight, and then as the enemy gets closer, then we'd be swapping over to the railgun. That should give us plenty of time to maneuver into position. And maybe if we put the railgun this high, we could even sneak the barrel just above there. I'm just worried the overall shape's going to look a little bit funky with that, but I guess it already looks a little bit weird. It looks more like a weird ship/spaceship design. Maybe that could work. I do want to add that railgun, and we do have the resources to add a partial railgun now, which you can fill in later. And I would like it to be, rather than my usual belt feds, which I absolutely adore, I would like to go 2 meters or bigger, probably 3 meter. Since I don't want to be just holding down fire the entire fight. Maybe. Maybe. Still trying to get some inspiration here. Definitely think I'm going to go with the Black Currants front section, though. I do love these little fins at the front. And that would be interesting. They're quite simple as well, isn't it? Just wedges? Yeah. So I'm just testing out the dimensions. I have plenty of space inside the craft to armor this up, although it's a little bit hampered by the missiles. It should still have at least one air gap against heat, and then the rest can just be filled in heavy armor, so it should be okay. But I really don't like how it looks. Now, obviously it's going to be facing the other way, so ignore that. But I think it would look better if it was lower down, which would mean, of course, it wouldn't be able to aim directly forwards. You'd basically be able to aim to there, and then swing around and aim to there. Which I think will be fine. I think will be fine. Start with the particle cannon, start firing all the missiles, which is all obviously automated, and then start positioning ourselves so we can get into an arc of fire for this. It doesn't have to fire forwards, and the turret cap itself I can blend in at least a little bit, at least attempt to, with the rest of the superstructure, then bring it down, and what I'd like to do is actually bring this a little bit up, so I think I will be changing the back section a little bit. Probably not too much, but just a little bit. Then that'll be the final design, and then all the rest of the resource will just go into reinforcing more torps, making this railgun stronger, and reinforcing the armor and adding more batteries, because there's still plenty of space in the craft which isn't used yet. Hopefully I'll get to like 1.3, 1.5 mil before difficulty 100, so we're facing off against things on equal foot. Not too sure though. Okay, so this is a super simple railgun. It has 322mm rounds at a length of 3 meters. It costs about 40,000 energy per shot, but it does propel them to 1,200 meters per second. And that was about as perfect as it could have got. So what the shell is it's a heat shell, which means it explodes on the outside, then sends fragments on the inside. I'm sure I've already mentioned that in this video itself. And as you can see, that's exactly what's happened. It's hit the outside, and oh, it hasn't killed the AI, it's killed the jets at the back. Well, that was a really good example of it then. Perfect. So this thing doesn't need to be the most brutal cannon ever. It's essentially just there if the missiles and the particle cannon don't work. It needs to be able to take up vitals and little defensive measures, which might make enemies resistant to our other weapon types. If it can do that, which I think it will be able to, it's going to be successful. It does cost like 80,000 resources though, just for this tiny gun. It is actually fairly small. Kind of wish I added a railgun to the front as well. 2 of these would be cool, but I do think this selection of weapons is probably the best. And kind of my classic combo at this point. And look! Little fins! Finally, one more of the Imperium of Man logos. So there we go, we've got 2 of them, aren't we precious? Okay, so we're going towards the red portal there. We're currently in difficulty 90. We're about to head to difficulty 95. And then, honestly, I'm going to try and go straight for difficulty 100. We now cost 1.2 million. We have 100,000 resources for repairs and ammo. I think we're ready to try and take on some of the higher-end godlies. Honestly, not as big as I thought I'd be for the cost, and it's purely because of the stuff we've got. The large missiles are incredibly expensive, the particle cannon is very expensive, this railgun, even though it's one of the smaller railguns, still costs nearly 100,000 all by itself, and it's only taking up this tiny little cavity here. Even the defenses are expensive, just every aspect of this, very expensive stuff, no cheaper weaponry. Really need to make another cram design in my spare time or something where I can just bulk out and make a monster. Well, here we are in difficulty 100. So difficulty 95, there was pretty much nothing there. I went in a straight line, I found the red portal, and that was it for 15 minutes. During that time, I double-checked the armor, double-checked all the weapon systems, and I think everything is good to go. The only thing is this front weapon still has a pretty poor field of fire, and that's just because of the armor, honestly. With the front weapons here being so large and all the vitals being here, I either had to sacrifice field of fire or the armor, and I went with the field of fire, so I'm hoping that's gonna be a good choice. We'll see if it messes us up in the fight to come. Honestly, it could have been fixed by just moving everything back a meter, but at that point, there was nothing I could really do. So, wish I kind of went with a static weapon with a better, let's have a quick look-see, a better damage loss every meter, but it is what it is. Double vertical lens rather than the single long-range lens. We'll see how it goes. I'm just going to sit here until something eventually spawns in. Oh. Didn't expect that perfect timing. What are we fighting? In the air, we have... That has to be Scarlet Dawn. Is that the Event Horizon? Of course the first enemy is the Event Horizon. Lovely. It's facing the wrong way. I mean, to be fair, so are we. I'm not going to fire just yet. It's really far away. I can't even see it yet, so let's turn around. Ah, first shot sadly not piercing the weapon, but it has done something. I mean, there's fires, so... Oh, we've hit engine. We have hit engine and gone all the way through there. I mean, if that ends up in the water, that'll be so funny since we can use torps. We're getting too close. We're getting too close. Their shots are hitting us. It's going in the water. Oh, is it going to stay there, though? I think it is. I think it's actually... I have never sunk an event horizon before. What was that shot? Okay, first fight's over. Oddly enough, doesn't have torp defense. You know, the flying craft. I love the event horizon. It's beat me multiple times, but it is such a vulnerable craft if you hit the right spot. And now it's destroying the game because it's starting to disintegrate. Please don't crash. Although its cannon did connect with the front of our craft, thanks to all of that heavy armor on the front, because I'm just anticipating being hit a lot there, since it's such a big snoot, we actually didn't lose that much resource in the fight, so we're now completely loaded in resource and ready for the next fight. If I really wanted to, I could add some secondary systems, but I think I'm just going to leave it as it is. That particle cannon is not that big. Look, it's size 354. That's it. That's not the biggest particle cannon ever. In fact, it's like a third of what it can be. They are very strong, aren't they? Okay, I need to pay more attention. Enemy is inbound. What is the second enemy then of difficulty 100? We have Scarlet Dawn, and this is the... Ooh, actually, I don't know 100% what you are in terms of how you fight. Looks like, I'm guessing, loads of front armor, like always. Yeah, that is ridiculous. Railguns. Okay, well, here's hoping don't have too much missile defense. I guess we're moving forwards. That thing will probably back away, I imagine. Let's see if we can get a good hit in the core, the top. Nope, that was dreadful. One of the two particle cannon shots just outright missed. The other one, don't think it did too much. Okay, it does have munition defense, but it doesn't seem that strong. The huge missiles were taking up pretty much all of its time, so all of our medium missiles did just land. I guess just keep moving forwards. Are we taking many hits? Most of them are bouncing right now, which is great. Oh, why have I got my torps on? What a waste of ammo. Yeah, I mean, for the most part, it looks like it just can't really do much against us. I guess we should probably just try and fire at those at the front. That time, the particle cannon went straight through. Did it do much? Hard to tell. Both of the cannons are still online, which is infuriating. I was hoping maybe I'd hit at least some section of that. We can do one more shot with the particle cannon though, and then that's it, and we'll have to swap over to the railgun. Although the railgun also takes up energy, it's nowhere near as much. We're kind of at the range we want to be right now. Yeah, more missile hits. And that was the last chance of the railgun. I couldn't tell if it actually gone through because of the fog. I think it did. Yeah, I think it did. Just don't think it hit anything vital. Oh, the railgun's down here. I thought the railgun was attached to the hull there. Oh, okay. Well, that was my mistake, wasn't it? Oh, look. Neat. Really neat. Huh. Wow, look at how much love has gone into this. My crafts never get that much love. They must really hate me. To be fair as well, after the adventures, they tend to never be used again, so they must really hate me. Don't listen to that echo, it's fine. I called it echo at some point. Oh yeah, they're obviously underneath. I blame the fog and not my inattentiveness. Ooh, that was a decent shot there by the railgun. I hit the barrel that time. Oh, perfect shot then. Don't think it did anything though. Oh, it's weirdly protected because of the angle it's at. Oh, that was a perfect railgun shot though. Went straight in between. We are getting hit, and those are likely piercing shots. And I'm out of energy, in fact. That was it. Probably should have gone to the railgun first, or at least a lot earlier. Or we could have just relied on the missiles. Yeah, I just don't think the enemy was particularly lucky with its hits. Yeah, I mean, look at that. That went straight through and hit nothing. No, one missile, one RTG. Yeah, that could have taken out our guns, our missile systems entirely or anything. It just got very unlucky with its shots. And so, you are down. Goodbye, Gorse. Gauss. Gorse. Bob. Okay, next enemy, what do we have? Once again, Scarlet Dawn. And it is... Okay, we are versus the Singularity this time. Quite far away, so I'm not entirely sure if our particle cannon's going to be quite as deadly as it was in the test. But I mean, might as well give it a shot. Nope, no explosion this time. Quite a lot actually taken off, though, so what do we just hit? Oh, okay. So knocked out one of its particle cannons, and I think one of its jets, along with some of its laser systems. Yeah, sadly, we didn't quite hit the ring shield there. I always try and aim at these 2 points. I think it was just slightly off. Still, though, that was something. Now, that thing can teleport, annoyingly, away from missiles. Saying that, the missiles have hit. At least the smaller ones have. I'm not seeing any major explosions. It's firing quite a lot, though. Are we getting hit? Very close. I probably should stop moving forward at this point. Just wait for the next time we can fire our particle cannon. I'm still reloading at this point. Not a shock. There we go. Another hit. What did we hit this time? Please show me a ring shield. I'm seeing, again, more jets, more laser systems. Definitely some railgun stuff this time. And, oh, the very edge of a ring shield. Does that cause them to detonate? I'm not entirely sure how much damage they need to take, and their exact properties, I very rarely use them, to be completely honest. Still nice to hit, though, because without a functional ring shield, that's a lot more damage our shots can do. Right now, we are fighting a vague silhouette. I do apologise for that, but I need to be ready for when our next shot is reloaded. Ooh, that's a lot of internal explosions, I'm assuming, from the fire from the ring shield. It just teleported. Is it going down by itself before I fire the particle cannon again? I want to not use up all my energy if possible. No, looks like it's still up in the air. Another shot. Only one particle cannon there, so our weapon is damaged. Some energy stuff, and once again some jets. I do wonder what's happened on the inside. It's hard to tell when it is compact. I can't exactly minimize anything. Well, here's hoping the missiles can finish it off. Not exactly as clean a fight as the test version, but that's normally how it goes. A little while later, though, and it did simply end up in the water. I think all those jets being knocked out and all the internal damage finally stacked up. Still functioning, though. How much damage did we take? We definitely lost our front weapon. Oh, wow. Ooh, okay. Yeah. We took a lot of hits there. Still, a third victory. Happy with that. What I really want to fight is a non-Scarlet Dawn. Give me the Megalodon. Please. Amazingly, it took out loads of our internal propellers. Originally I thought the PID had gone, but no, the PID was still absolutely functional. Just these internal propellers being hidden here by these metal ducts were just gone. It hit so many internals, but really weird internals. I think it's not a Scarlet Dawn. I think it's not a Scarlet Dawn. That's not a Thresher Shark. Don't be a Thresher Shark. I love the Thresher Shark, though I genuinely think it's one of the easier enemies in difficulty 100. I am amazed that particle cannon didn't do a one-shot, because I have one-shot this thing with multiple weapon types before. If that gun goes, the entire enemy goes. So, I guess I'll start moving towards it, and let's see if our missiles can deal with it before the next particle cannon shot. Terrible luck with the particle cannon shots. Also terrible luck with their distractions. These all have signal processors. What are you guys doing? It hasn't really hit us back, though, so it's been just slowly burning, as we've been repeatedly missing it. It's the least thrilling fight this entire run so far, I think. Okay, the torps are finally caught up with it. It did have some anti-torp stuff, but not enough. It hit me. It definitely hit me. I didn't think that thing would be so good against missiles, honestly. Have signal processors been nerfed, or am I going mad? I had to double check they all had them, and they did. It's the Event Horizon again. Well, this time we didn't get a one-shot. Okay, actually no, last time I guess we technically didn't. Oh, we did, because it ended up causing it to sink. I think after this fight, I'm just going to go in the sandbox mode and spawn in what I want to fight, because I've got to be honest, this is taking way too long. I've now been here for over 2 hours in this difficulty. I want to fight the Megalodon or the Pyre or something. I think the Megalodon, because I think it'd be more fun to fight a ship as a submarine, to be completely honest. And that's about it. That went all the way through and didn't knock out the gun. That is shocking. Oh, although the missiles did. Okay, so we have killed 2 Event Horizons. We have killed a Singularity, we have killed a Thresher Shark, and the other skeleton I can't remember the name of. We're going into the sandbox mode. Splish! Well, here we go, the fight where I think I'm about to lose, but I think it's going to be a lot of fun either way. We have the Megalodon. This thing costs almost 2 million. I know for a fact it has anti-torps. I know for a fact it has a lot of anti-missiles, including incredibly nasty distraction sticks, the radar decoys from, I think, large missiles. I'm not sure where they fire from. Maybe there? Maybe there. Not sure. And loads of very powerful weapons, like these massive railguns. I think it has torps, though I'm not entirely sure. Well, let's just start and find out, eh? Okay, this first shot's going to be so important from our particle cannon before it turns too much. Oh, no explosions there. That's unlikely to have done much then. That was 152,000 damage. It definitely went all the way through the target. But did it hit anything vital by the looks of things? Oh, okay, so a few blocks from at least one railgun. And some decking. Yeah. Well, that was that. That was definitely that. Sorry, starting a broadside. Yeah, there's the distraction sticks and all of our missiles going towards them. How insane is that? Even with the signal processors. So probably I should fire at those. The next particle cannon shot should definitely go towards those, and those are really annoyingly placed kind of near the core. Okay. So it was those 2 on the side. Are any missiles actually going to hit? Oh, looks like a few are going down towards it. Okay, good, 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 good. A few of the large missiles did actually score some hits there. Terrible shot there from the particle cannon, not wanting to go where I wanted it at all. But, by the looks of things, our missiles have taken out 1 of their distractions. The other one, I'm thinking full health, okay. Still good. 1 less is 1 less. Most of our damage is going to come from our missiles, so, funnily enough, I'm more scared of those 2 little things on strings than their railguns. That's why, look, all of the missiles again just flying upwards. Maybe I am going mad, just in my head, signal processors used to be stronger at countering those. Ooh, saying reloading, but that seems a little bit too slow. Is my particle cannon still there? Yes, it is. Keep backing away. I think that's the right call here. Lovely. Some missile hits there. Or maybe torp hits, actually. Now, that may have hit the other distraction stick. If so, we're in for a much better time. Okay, particle cannon shots at us. It did hit. I was just thinking maybe we should have spawned it in closer, but no. In the adventure mode, that would have been further away. We've seen enemies which are basically invisible. No, don't go towards it. Okay, I can't fire the particle cannon again. I wonder if I've taken out an AI or something. Those railguns are not even trying to shoot us. Okay, we are doing a lot of damage now without those distractions. We are firing a lot of anti-torps. Yep, they definitely do have torps, but we have enough defense to just about remove them. Wow. This one should be taken out by the next wave. Yeah, just needs to keep on backing up them. Don't let them close in. If they close in, then that's it. Guys? None of you going towards this one? I am sure I've set it to be... Oh dear. I'm just gonna keep running away from this single torp. Okay, we are still hitting. Some fire's breaking out. Okay, so now even the medium missiles are hitting, which means their defense must be finally breached. It's the first time seeing fire damage, though I may have just missed it. You know what, never mind, torps are just broken. Torps are just the most broken thing in the entire universe. Torps and particle cannons. Okay, I'm gonna stay still now. Oh, again, why is that one? Thank you, it timed out. That torp eventually timed out. Does seem like these, the sonar decoys, aren't quite as effective as the radar decoys. This fight's been going on now for over 15 minutes. I'm not sure what I hit early on. There we go. Maybe it wasn't AI or something to do with the railguns, but they did very little during this fight, less so than I expected. Of course, we are a submarine. We're not exactly easy to hit, even if you are made to hit us. The enemy torps did hit us multiple times. They had loads of health. Their distraction sticks were absolutely fantastic, and honestly, hand on my heart, if we were not manually controlling the particle cannon, if we were not a player design, we were just a normal AI, we wouldn't have won, because we wouldn't have had those nasty particle cannon shots early on, and the luck we did. Saying that, the missiles did do a lot of the work there as well, hitting their distraction stick early, so I do think some luck was involved. It was still a really fun fight, even if it took ages, and it was nice to see something fight back against us. I'm not sure what other designs to fight, and honestly, this video is probably close to 3 hours already. I've got tens and tens of hours of footage at this point. Actually, over 100 hours of footage I need to edit down. So I'm going to call it here. Long ramble aside, thank you so much for watching. And now to do what we weren't allowed to do earlier. Finally, above the water, the submarine goes. What I've called the Echo in the end, likely the cheesiest, silliest design I've ever built for one of these adventure mode runs. This is why I don't normally use submarines. It's just such a hard counter to so many other designs, and those they don't hard counter, they still have a very good chance against. Same with particle cannons. It's why I've started to shy away from them a little bit, at least in adventure mode where you have manual control. I think in the future, if I ever use particle cannons again, I'm not going to manually control them. You've seen why. The damage is just so ridiculous when you can pinpoint choose where they're going to hit. Overall though, really fun run, and I hope I've highlighted the power of the humble submarine, even when piloted by a complete doofus like me. And if you've enjoyed the video, then of course likes, favourites, shares, comments, all that good stuff helps out me, helps out the channel, and most importantly, shows that From the Depths is a series you wish to see continued in the future. Tell me about any other challenge runs you want to see in the future, such as Simple Weapon or Melee. I will be reading all of the comments as always. And now, I need to go and get some sleep. I am rambling.